That's good coffee. Do you want a mug? We're selling them. I mailed my first one out a couple of days ago. Shoot us a $40 Venmo along with your address, and we'll send it over to you. Or a PayPal, or a Cash App, and just shoot an email to Brian at the New American Media and let me know where to mail it to. And I will get you a TNAM mug, thanks to John for creating and sending those. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside Ohio, Cleveland, to be pseudo-specific. Although somewhere outside Cleveland, Ohio could literally mean I'm anywhere. I'm sort of specific, but sort of not. My name is BrianEngelman. Today is Tuesday, October 2nd, 2025, and you have joined us here on the best damn show in the land. It's called the TNAM Daily Show. TNAM. What is TNAM? Whoopsh. That means the New American Media. Sometimes the flag is facing upright, and sometimes it's upside down. Look at the corner. Look at the corner here. Watch. When I snap my fingers, what is this magic? Wait, whoop, I gotta make sure. Here we go. Let's try it again. Ready? Hey, now America is in good shape. Snap the fingers. Oh, now we're a nation in distress. Let's try it again. Good shape. Nation in distress. Good shape. Nation in distress. Good shape. Okay, you get it. When I had the latest batch of drawings made, it's like, all right, well, we got to do both, because I mean, if they were able to steal and install a Kamala term, I mean, we're barely hanging on by a thread right now. Yes, it seems like we're getting a bunch of stuff corrected. The culture war, it's being dominated by common sense at this point. The people who've been running roughshod over America for really the better part of 20 years, they've been exposed. The lies, the media manipulation, the vitriol, the backwardness. And we're seeing it in the budget battle, the Schumer shutdown. Oh, everybody's lying about it. Everybody's lying about the budget. We had our paid troll come in yesterday and say, well, you know, it's the Republicans have the presidency and the Senate and the House. This is the Republican shutdown. Nope. Nah. Republicans don't have the 60 votes. They need some Democrat support. And they're 100%. It seems like, is it 100%? Let me check the numbers, but they're not getting any assistance for a clean continuing resolution to keep the government funded. Nope. This is the Schumer shutdown. This is the Democrat shutdown. And that's the poll that we put out on our X feed at American_media_. And we ask that you click on it. Question of the day, everybody. Do you have a Truth Social account? So we ran a poll in Truth Social. We're trying to grow over there a little bit. Don't know. I don't know. Don't use the platform a lot, but it's nice to know it's there as a backup, and we do put information there. So if you have a Truth Social account, click on it for the New American Media and subscribe. Follow us, all that jazz. Hello, everybody in chat. Welcome. Trash Panda Texas says, howdy, barkeep teacher. Yes. Welcome to my bar. We're going to talk about all the stories on the TV. What are the stories on the TV today? Well, the Netflix grooming boycott has grown. What even is Netflix anyway? And by the way, what in the world is going on? Oh, leaving Netflix soon, coming to Netflix soon. Just make it the GD Library of Alexandria underneath the paw of the Sphinx in Egypt. Well, that's according to Edgar Casey, if you want to delve into his dream work where he believes that's where the Akashic records are kept. Well, Akashic records could be in the Van Allen belt, or it could be theoretical, hypothetical. It could be spiritual. It could be energetic. It could be vibrational. But a literal version of the Library of Alexandria that was burned to the ground, because people love to destroy things. You see it on the American left. The left is violent. Prove me wrong. Steven Crowder's back at it with a whole team of protectors. And there's builders and there's destroyers. They used to say that the Republicans were a party of no ideas and the Democrats were a party of bad ideas. There's some truth to that. But what you're seeing now and what you've seen, I mean, the Summer of Love riots in 2020, the left, the Democrats, the deep state, they're all the same, scrambled eggs, whisked together. They love to destroy. Oh, yeah, I know what's best. Clean your bloody room, Jordan Peterson would say. If you can't even take care of your own life, why are you telling everybody else how to live? I get it. There's value in that. There's wisdom in that. But it seems like the Democrats just want to destroy things. And by not just signing on to a continuing resolution and fighting to defend stealing Americans' money to give to illegal aliens, it's not a good look, but it is the look of the left. This is who they've become, which is why their 19% approval rate is far too high, in my opinion. And this is why I think the Republicans and MAGA in general, specifically, are fighting a losing battle unless you address the teaching, the schooling, the indoctrination, the media. Common sense people would never allow your doors to be left open at night. You close the door, you lock the door, you protect the things that you love. Your kids, your family, your pets, your life. Like, that's what normal people do. But the Democrats have been working against the basic interests of the American people for far too long. But the facade is cracking. I'm once again calling on, we need a school revamp. Yes, shutting down the Department of Education since, I believe, 1979 has been driving our test scores directly into the rubbish. Hey, that's where we find them. We're the TNAM trash pandas, don't you know? Rifling through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact, digging through what people are talking about in the news and trying to make sense of it. Trash Panda says, howdy, barkeep teacher. Yes, I've been a bartender a lot of my life. I've been called Brian the bartender. I love it. I love talking to people. I love, it's fun. Small doses, right? But yeah, I think I'm a bit of a teacher, and we're trying to figure out what's really happening in this world. So we're going to talk about the stories. Like I said, Steven Crowder's calling out leftist violence. Netflix is being boycotted, and the Democrats have shut down government. So those are some of the major stories that we're going to get to today. And of course, there's going to be other things going on. Hello, Deb. Not from San Francisco. Deb from Sacramento. Good morning. And the morning's better when drinking your coffee out of the New American Media mug. Look at that. Thanks, John, for making this. Is the host behaving this morning? Sorta. God, I hope so. Yeah, I'm sort of behaving. Yes, we are the trash pandas. We are the raccoons. Not the real pandas, the trash pandas. That's a raccoon. Because every day when you open up social media, you're rifling through rubbish. It's like you never know what you're going to find. And sadly, we become so desensitized to things. I mean, how many of us start your day scrolling through and then bam? You end up with a snuff film. You're like, ugh. But that's the news. We're getting the news very raw, very unfiltered immediately. And so I do call it rubbish. But, we're going to try to make sense of it and try to keep our vibes high. Vibe check. That's what Kenneth always reminds me. I love when the regular crowd shuffles in. Please share this show. Click the share button and send a text to a couple of your smart friends and go, hey, jump in. We're going to talk about the news today. We're all in the comments section, yapping it up, hanging out. Good friends, all of us. Marion Cook. Howdy, Marion. Howdy. David Ban, my brother from another mother. Up there in Ontario, Canada, making this an international show. We always appreciate having David in the room. Oh, there's Kenneth, the trash dander. Trash dander? What? Wait, am I sounding like an old man? What did I say? Oh, the good old days? Well, shit. I mean, weren't the good old days better? Weren't they gooder? Weren't they more gooder? That Brian, he's so stupid. He literally said, more gooder. Can you believe it's so stupid? He's so stupid. Yes, I say things like Canada and more gooder intentionally. I do. Teacher / reluctant father. Reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Question of the day. That's a pop culture reference. What is that? Reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Can you finish the phrase? Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Quit pimping? Never! I'll quit primping. I'm wearing my Cleveland Indians jersey because, look, today is the day. Cleveland Guardians, it's a best of 3 series. It's game 3 in Cleveland against the Detroit Motor City Kitties. Win this game, we will advance to play the Seattle Mariners. I want to win a World Series in my lifetime, gosh darn it. So I think I'm going to try to wrap this show by, well, I'm going to try to be fast-ish for me, which is tough because I love interacting with everybody as much as I can, but I'm going to try to plow through the content. Because what I think I'd like to do is do a live watch party. Pull up the Gamecast. We'll talk about the game in real time and watch it together. Because I do another show, as I mentioned, if you want a mug, please let me know. I will mail one out to you. I also have coasters for this bar. Look, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Ohio-made wooden coasters, laser engraved. I have the Unhappy Hour pins. I got some shaped like the state of Ohio, some shaped like the pins, the circular. If you want these, they're $30 a piece, or the pin is $25, $75 for all 3, shipping included. Just shoot me a, oh, let me put that up on the screen, the tip jar. Got to put the tip jar out. I'm busking over here. I'm busking, I tells you. How about that for old-timey vernacular? I haven't been busking in a fortnight. Yes, I am a busker. I'm playing my guitar, and I have my guitar case open. Toss some pennies in if you wish. Oh, speaking of pennies, let's do a double check here. How are we doing on YouTube so that we can enact our try to get advertisements reinstated? It looks like we are 600 pennies away from getting our eligibility returned for advertisements. So if any of you could watch some extra content on our YouTube channel, The New American Media, every hour played is a penny in the wishing well. I need 600 pennies to reenact the advertising revenue on the channel. Trying to break through the shadow bans. President Trump just got a $24 million settlement because YouTube shut down his YouTube account. Cool start. We all need $1 million a year for what they did to violate our civil liberties and tank our businesses. I'm calling on that. We need a class action, and we need it now. But I'm working within the realm of what I can do. We have enabled super chats. So if anyone wants to toss a super chat, they are there for everyone to enjoy. But no, I'll quit primping. I'm just wearing my tribe jersey. Wait, do I have any patches? Oh, yep. Got my Chief here. Love my Chief. But yes, I'm a big sports fan. You know it. All right. So let's do this. Oh, well, hold on. More people coming in. Regular crowd shuffling in. Oh my God, Deb. Kenneth, aren't we all from the same sack? He said Deb from the sack. No, that's Sacramento, not the Marbles. That was from the movie Major League, where the Cleveland Indians, against all odds, played well. Oh, all these universes are colliding, Jerry. Top of the morning to you, Unholy Hoax. Yes, he got the... No, it was not from Forrest Gump. Reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Unholy Hoax got it right away. What is that, Kenneth? You have a mug, and I also have cup. Huh? I missed that one. David said, at least the Indians are good, but let's not depress ourselves with the burden of the Browns. The Cleveland Browns are going to have the 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time England game against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. So I'm going to have to get up extra early for that one. New quarterback, though, Dylan Gabriel. More mobility. It'll probably unlock some different stuff. Nothing Flacco was doing was working. So let's move on. And we are. And the Indians are good. But we need to be good enough to win every series. Let's get the World Series. I've been waiting my entire life, and I've never celebrated a championship. I'm ready. You know, and I have several shirts for Cleveland Browns that say, just one before I die. Just one championship before I die. So please, let this year be the year for all of it. Yep. Trash Panda knew it. Reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Engines bumping and thumping in time. The what is it called? What is it? The green flag churning and burning. I yearn for the cup. I deftly maneuver and muscle for rank. Cars moving fast on an empty tank. He's still driving and striving as fast as he can. Anyway, it's a song from Cake. It's awesome. Pouring rain on the roof started leaking. No, buckets, no. Well, shit. Sorry about that. Pouring rain, roof is leaking. All right. The green light flashes. The flags go up. Churning and burning. I yearn for the cup. He deftly maneuvers and muscles for rank. Yes, the green light flashes. Hello, Danette. I love when the regulars have my back. Thank you so much. Oh, speaking of having my back, look at what's on the back of my jersey. You know, I've grown weary of the Cleveland Indians being the farm system for all the big spending teams. All of our best free agents go sign their big contracts elsewhere, except Jose Ramirez, by the way. But as far as having your back, look what I got. Bam. I got myself on the back of this jersey because I'm never going to trade me. Fun fact about this jersey, if you can zoom in on the EL, we ordered it custom and it showed up ENGLE. We ordered it specifically and they put the two. I was on the phone with somebody today trying to resolve an issue, which is always fun. But I gave him my name and I spelled it out and I go, let me spell it one more time. Because even when I spell it, people spell it wrong. But yeah, having your back, I got my own name on my back because I'm not trading me. And I'm not going to stop calling them the tribe or the Indians because that's who it is. And I want that Indians championship. I want the tribe championship. Just one before I die. What number is on the back of my jersey? What is your guess? What is your guess about the number on the back of my jersey? You saw some of it. I could give you a couple of hints, but I'll just let you guess. Was it made in Jersey? Today's show, it's like, hey, Brian, let's do a fast show. No, I'm just going to look at my jersey for Majestic made. I don't know. I can't read it. It's attached to me. Made in Jersey. That's funny. It's not a new jersey, though. It's more of an old jersey. But this was the best style. This was like the 1990s Cleveland Indians when they moved into their new stadium. Anyway, we're not here to talk sports because Deb's going to start snoring at me. We're going to talk about the news. So let's get into the Thunderdome. Here it comes.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Okay, so I guess we're guessing. Deb has to go dump some buckets. That's not a euphemism. That's a literal thing that's occurring. Marion saying, is the jersey number the year you were born? No, it is not. Danette asks, am I number 2? No, I'm not. But it reminds me, I have been drinking coffee and I might need... No, I'm not making that joke. Number 2. Marion Cook, it should be number 1. Hey, thanks. Appreciate you. I know, Danette, the 90s were the best. Can we go back? Everything got... I'm really trying to not be me. I don't want to swear as much as I do. I know that it brings an energy. It changes vibrations. I get it. But I'm trying to be descriptive. Man, the 90s were the best. David, the 90s were definitely a pretty good time. I know, back before the world went crazy. 2001, everything went bonkers. David had a great time in the 90s. 80s were rad, and the 90s were plaid. No, the 70s were plaid. The 90s were... Anything rhyming with ad? I don't know. Attention deficit disorder. Yeah, I mean, society peaked in 1999. Everybody knows that. 1999. I was there at Woodstock, if you can believe that. In 99. Yeah, so the 70s were plaid. The 80s were rad. And the 90s were something. I don't know. There's something there. Trash Panda prefers the 60s. If we go back to grunge music and read books. I mean, let's go back. I'll tell you what. I was playing the drums this morning, though. I haven't played in a little while. I don't love my digital kit. I don't like the feel of the I don't love it. I love that I have one. It's not the same. The feel of it. It's not quite the same. But I was playing. What I play? I played like 2 drum and bass things, or what was it? It was like Future Primitive and Glitch Mob. You know, just kind of, I don't know even what genre you call it, like techno or electronic or something. But then I did get Breaking Benjamin. I did like playing to that song. And that's not grunge, but it's alternative rock. It's close-ish. Anyway. All right. Let's dump the news out on the table and talk about the things that everybody's talking about, shall we? I guess this would be a good time to also remind you to follow us in all the places. Like I said, share our show. Put it out on X real quick. Just click the button to share the show. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the heart button. I don't know if you have that on your computer or if you have that on your phone. I'm not sure. Actually, that's a good question. How do you all watch the show? Are you watching from your cell phone? Are you watching on a laptop, on a desktop? Are you watching telepathically? Unholy Hoax. There you go. Yeah, so you have a Tama Rockstar, and you love your drums. I glanced at him like a T-Nam Rockstar. Okay, I could be a T-Nam Rockstar. Yeah, I have a Rockstar as well. I did have a Tama Rockstar. Then I traded. I have a Yamaha Stage Custom Advantage, but this one it's a Titan 50. It's an electronic kit. Okay, all these shows are playing. Hold on, let me click this back because it's... There we go. We'll just... Sorry, Instagram started doing that. Unholy Hoax, are you still performing? My sponge removes 90s grunge. It's sponge-worthy. Watching YouTube on your iPad. Yeah, so as I'm looking up here, okay, I see some hearts going through. You can hit the confetti, blast the confetti a little bit. As you think about it, hit the 100. I mean, really just do anything. Show the algorithm that people give a shit and they should share this show with more people. It's all some mathematical formula. I know we've been blacklisted. I'm going back to the Google AdSense revenue, seeing the thousands of dollars we used to make compared to the zero we've made over the past 8 years since they demonetized us. It's fucking frustrating. So yeah, we've been blacklisted, but I'm doing what I can do to try to move our show back, to bring our channel back, and to generate the revenue we need to cover our monthly expenses. We're not there, but we're growing, and it's awesome and it's appreciated. But yeah, maybe share the show with some people. Copy and paste it, put it out on X, put it out on Facebook, and go, hey, we dump the news out every day and talk about it. Click join us. We're over here talking about it right now. It's word of mouth. I know you know other smart people in your life. Tell them about the show, please. David was born in 75, so the 80s and 90s are where the party all started for me. Yeah. Nobody's guessed my jersey number. If you keep guessing, I'll keep... there's only so many numbers. The Cleveland Browns have a player that we drafted out of Texas, Isaiah Bond, and in our Strictly Football show. By the way, do you know we have a Strictly Football show? Anybody? It's with Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, and Ezrael Robinson. Strictly Football. We did our show on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we discussed how Isaiah Bond on the Browns, wouldn't it be cool if he was the number 007? How about that? Bond. Isaiah Bond. That'd be so cool to give someone named Bond 007. I think they should make an exception if they only do like 2 numbers on a jersey. I think that would be cool. Okay. What's 66? Nope, not 66. Okay, I'm not going to give hints. I have your show on my 80-inch TV. You got an 80-inch TV, bro? Nice. And have it up on my phone so I can comment. Sweet. Appreciate all of that. That's cool. Kenneth is on the smartphone. Yeah, because I think you can tap the hearts. I'm going to tap the hearts button just to test it, make sure it works. The laughter button when I'm being hilarious or when Kenneth is being hilarious. Marion says 99. No. So you guess 66 and you guess 99. A Strictly Footwear show? No, I'm not doing OnlyFans. I'm not doing an OnlyFeed account. Sorry. All right, let's get to the news. This is Mike Benz talking about what Twitter was doing to censor Americans through the NGOs.
Firing the trust and safety team.
Oh, there's music. I might not be able to play it. So he said that Elon immediately fired the trust and safety team at X.
Made it very difficult to actually enforce the censorship pressure that was being applied by these NGOs.
The non-governmental organizations that are absolutely governmental organizations, not 88, not 33, Marion. They steal our tax dollars, they fund these NGOs, and then they turn it inward to attack Americans. This has been the Obama doctrine. It's been their plan for a long time. They're laundering government censorship.
The way it would work is the government would fund the NGOs. The NGOs would pressure the platforms through their trust and safety teams, simultaneously threatening advertiser boycotts to crush the revenue and hearings or regulatory.
Yeah, and they would crush the revenue because hate groups like the ADL is not a good organization. The Southern Poverty Law Center is not a good organization. They're not trustworthy. They're not honest. They're incredibly biased, full of vitriol. And they would give guidelines for who social media should attack. Normal Americans. Having normal conversations were being targeted and silenced. That's the game they've been allowed to play for far too long. Yeah, the Defamation League would give the NGOs lists of what to do, and then they would pressure, hey, you need to silence the New American Media. Don't you know he covered the Seth Rich assassination? Assassination? You're crazy. That was just a random robbery. Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't. They didn't like I was interviewing John McAfee. They didn't like that Laura Eisenhower was calling Hillary Clinton a demon. They didn't like there's a million stories that we were covering that they hated. We're allowed to do it. It's not 00. It's not 18. I love that we're just going to guess numbers all day. Do I have to show? Here, I'll show the jersey one more time. Here, in case that helps. Does that help? Good. You were number 44, David. Gotcha. Trump was 45. Trump said it recently. He was president number 45, 46, if you think about it, and 47. Trust the plan or something. Anyway,
enforcements from effectively the government, whether the executive or the legislative branch, so that it was economically not viable to disobey what the NGOs said.
Yep, the NGOs were calling the shots with our tax money to silence us.
This is the way it's always structured, by the way. For example, the Red Lines memo that was given to Zelensky.
I don't know the Red Lines memo that was given to Zelensky.
70 NGOs undersigned a joint letter saying there will be political instability if you do any one of these 20 red lines.
Oh, threats.
And it was security policy, economic policy, media policy, everything in public policy in Ukraine. What was the Ukraine Crisis Media Center?
The Ukraine Crisis Media Center. What was it funded
by? It was funded by the,
let me guess, USAID?
U.S. State Department, USAID,
there it is.
About a dozen of these CIA NGO cutouts.
Yeah, CIA non-governmental organization cutouts. They're fake. They're wearing Halloween costumes. They're absolutely government.
Cutouts like Chemonics, and by NATO itself, immediately firing the trust and safety team.
So, I mean, what we said here, it's just like how Obama outsourced his rendition program, which was torture, to Africa. Then he pretended that they weren't sadistically torturing humans. They're like, well, a lot of people say, Americans can't be torturing people. And that's I told Michelle the other day, that's not who we are. That's not who we are. So we're going to pay people, militants that we funded and created in Northern Africa, to get some black sites. That's not about black people, mind you. That's just about black sites. That means a dark site, hidden, if you will. We're going to fund some terrorists that we created in some black sites, and they're going to torture people. I'm sorry. I forgot I was talking as Obama. I got to say, and then we're going to torture some folks. Because while I was being groomed to take this position as resident of the United States, someone told me, you got to say folks. If you say folks, it gives you about 5-10% cushion. So just say folks. Don't say people. Say folks. But that's exactly what Obama was doing. He was outsourcing his torture program through rendition. It's like, no, we don't torture. Yeah, you do. The government, oh, we don't censor. The fuck you don't. You did it to me. You did it to Trump. You did it to everybody else that was effectively calling you out on your bullshit. Kenneth is guessing my jersey number. 80085. Boobs. No. No, it's not 007. It's just two numbers. No, it's not 48. No, it's not 37. No, it's not 45. No, it's not 44. Anyway. NGOs and censorship. All right. Joe Rogan has kind of just been disgusted, and his eyes have been open to the hatred of the left, the violence of the left.
We're getting numb as a society of seeing people die.
Well, and that's exactly what I said. We're getting numb. You open your news, and it's like, whether you see somebody get flipped and run over by a police car, which I saw yesterday, where you see Charlie Kirk exploding, it's like we're being exposed to snuff films on a daily basis. It's not, as Kenneth would say, vibe check. That's not good. That's not good. But it's the reality we find ourselves in. But Rogan, his eyes have been opened by this with Charlie Kirk. He's just kind of appalled by it all.
Charlie Kirk thing fucking opened up my eyes.
Yeah.
I never expected so many people would celebrate that man's murder.
That is evil.
Evil.
That's
bizarre. It's just bizarre. Like normal people that I think they're good people. And they genuinely think that guy was a bad guy. And I don't think they're right, and I think they were indoctrinated. And I don't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk said or did.
I don't care if he was a bad guy or not.
He's not a bad guy.
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see anybody die.
First of all, he's fucking your age, right?
Yeah.
30, he's a young guy, right? And he would go around to college campuses and have arguments with people, or have discussions with people, have debates with people.
Yep.
But it infuriated people because they felt like this guy is going against the progress that was being made in society. But what he did not feel like was progress. Like it was a progressive agenda that was being pushed in most college campuses. It's a leftist, Marxist sort of agenda. He didn't feel like that was the correct way to live, and he felt like he had arguments against it, and he wanted, and it was, it's a business too.
Yeah, it is a business, but that's what I'm saying. You got to fix the colleges. You got to pull the funding if they're cranking out radical Marxists, radical violent Marxist activists, foot soldiers. It's insanity that we're allowing this. Oh, you sound like a Nazi now. You're not going to allow freedom of speech. We're not going to indoctrinate people to become violent, radical Marxists to attack our own country. No. Well, if that makes me radical, then radical me up. The colleges are the thing that's radical, not me. I'm not Republican. I'm not libertarian. I'm not MAGA. I'm an American, God damn it. And I am sick of what our middle schools, our high schools, our elementary schools, our colleges, our universities, the garbage ideologies pushed by garbage teachers. Not all of them. To my family member that gave me so much grief about my significant other's a teacher. How dare you? How dare I what? The teacher. Have you been to school lately? They're awful. Not all of them. But I do have a very sneaking suspicion that your loved one is one of the radical teachers that I'm talking about. I don't know that as a fact, but I've watched you change over the past couple of years. Respectfully. I'm not saying your name. I'm not putting you on blast. I'm not calling you out. But yeah, that angry conversation at me. Yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way. And I got every right to feel pissed off about how you treated me in that. Because if you're not seeing the radical indoctrination from the Marxists, the Democrats, the globalists, the New World Order types, the deep state, poisoning the brains of our kids, then you're part of the problem. And no, I have never once called for a school to get shot. It's like, the stuff that you're saying, it's going to cause someone to go to school and shoot my significant other. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I have never once called for a school shooting. That's insanity. Nobody would do that. Crazy people do. And who gets worked up to the point where they feel like they need to pull a trigger? Take a guess. Look around. It's the left. I know. Don't say that. I've lived most of my life not saying that phrase. And it has been creeping out lately. But if God is damning something, wouldn't God be damning the stuff that's coming out of these radical Marxist indoctrination camps? Wouldn't God be damning that? So if we twist the thought process of what that phrase means, then it's not an insult to God. It's in defense of what God would be advocating for. God is damning that stuff. And if it's good enough for God to damn, isn't it good enough for me to damn? I know, I take your point. I never like hearing the phrase either. Welcome back, by the way. The sky is turning gray in Ontario. Deb is back from her roof raining. I hope you got a team coming out to address that. I'm so sorry. I lived in a place that had flashing at the gutters that would flood. We didn't have enough downspouts, and it would fill up, and it would go underneath the flashing into my walls, and black mold burst out everywhere. That was traumatic. That was traumatic. I get your point. You say it's taking God's name in vain, but I'm saying if God is damning a thing, shouldn't we all damn it? Damn it. I know. I take your point. I don't like the phrase either, but it's slipping out of me a lot lately. I'm going to try to work on that.
Right? Like he developed this big social media platform because of it. And I don't, like I said, I don't agree. I don't think some of the things he said, he should have said. But the fact that people were cheering when he died, normal people.
They're not normal people.
Housewives, moms, like fucking people working at banks, people working at various industries, celebrating a man getting shot in front of his kids, in the front of the whole world.
That's
like,
evil.
What the fuck is wrong with us?
And it's just really weird now.
It's really weird, and it's celebrated to hate people, and that's the weird part. And most of us know that that's wrong. And that's why, like, when this Charlie Kirk thing happens, there's a giant blowback, and most people recognize, like, hey, as a collectively, as a society, this is not right. Regardless of whoever that person is, whether that person's on the left or the right, they just got shot in front of the whole world. It's not a thing to celebrate ever. And especially when you're seeing people on the left that are supposed to be progressives. These are supposed to be the kind, compassionate, inclusive people that are celebrating gun violence, public execution. Like, that's insane. That's a public assassination. That's insane.
We're getting
Hey, more leftist violence. Shocking, right?
Last night I got assaulted and I immediately ran to a Portland police officer.
This is post-millennial journalist Katie Daviscourt.
Hunted down the suspect
With a black eye.
Chased her through the streets and said, "This is..."
You know, I got to be clear. What the host just said, he's talking about her black, it appears to be her right eye. If you say that phrase kind of quick, it sounds like black guy, but it's a black eye, not a black guy. Do you hear the difference? You know, context matters.
Is my assault suspect. Can you guys finally do something? And I had eyes on her for about 35 minutes. Portland police refused to come in and make an arrest. And I had 3 officers just standing there watching me try to hunt down this suspect. And imagine my anger when I go.
Police are not there to protect and serve. Remember, when seconds count, police are only minutes away. Hey, remember, police don't prevent crime. They clean up crime scenes. It's up to you to defend your loved ones. Be trained, be vicious, be alert. Vicious if necessary. Always only defensively. Never allow yourself to be a victim, and never trust that the police are going to protect you. If they accidentally do, that's a bonus. Don't rely on that. Nobody's coming to save us.
Go online after doing all of that about an hour ago, and I see Portland police put out a bolo asking for the public's help in identifying my assault suspect. So that is what it's like on the ground here in Portland, and it's time for a federal crackdown. The Trump administration needs to start treating Antifa like ISIS, the terrorists that they are, and put an end to them here for good. Last night I got assaulted and I immediately ran to...
The violence is stupid. The left is pushing this. All right, so this is Dr. Mike Yeadon, former vice president at Pfizer, imploring you to reject digital ID, CBDCs, and UN Agenda 2030. Why? Well, here you go.
We are living in a peri-tyrannical situation where there's only 2 clicks left.
There's only 2 clicks left. I'll get to that. Let me deal with the comments. David says, what is indeed strange is everyone is worried about attacks, but on any given day, we could be poisoned to death by the chemtrails. I can't stand going outside and looking up at that shit. Stop it. Hey, good news for Bobby Kennedy, though. Now Walmart's taken all their artificial food dyes. We worked closely with the Walmart company to try to get the petroleum-based food dyes out of their store brand products. It's one step among many steps that need to be taken, but it is movement in the right direction to increase and improve Americans' health. So that's good. But I'm yelling at Bobby, what the fuck? Can you stop the spraying in the skies? Like that. I don't want to breathe any of that shit in. Stop it. Nope, not yet. Not yet. Kenneth says, watch only the lying legacy media and you'll get caught up in the divide and conquer drive. Yeah. But they're not MSM. They're lying legacy media. They're LLM. What I find... Okay, yeah. You can be poisoned to death by chemtrails. Yep. So yeah, 2 clicks left here for losing all your freedom, he says. Dr. Mike Yeadon, former VP of Pfizer.
When you are required to have digital ID to move around and have a life, and when cashless central bank digital currencies are the only way you can buy and sell, at that point you've lost your freedom. If you follow the breadcrumbs to 2030, anyone can look up the UN 2030 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. By 2030, Britain specifically will have no commercial passenger aircraft leaving the country. You will not be able to leave. There will be no ships leaving the country. You will not own private transport. You will have a digital ID to do everything, and you will only have electronic money with which to transact. I would say at that point you are a slave, and because you can see them coming, you should say no. Say no right now. Stop. The things that are happening are really fantastic, but they go back decades. There's no question that there's been a very long run-up to the level of control that we are going to face if we allow cash to be winked out of existence. We are living in a tyrannical situation where there's only 2 clicks left when you are required to have digital ID to move around and have a life, and when cashless central bank digital currencies are the only way you can buy and sell.
That's your mark of the beast, people. We said 1984 wasn't supposed to be an instruction manual. Button. Click that button if you think 1984 wasn't supposed to be an instruction manual. Yeah, that's your mark of the beast, people. David's like, I'm sorry, I keep talking about chemtrailing a lot, but it makes me angry it's still happening. Don't apologize. I said I loathe the chemtrailing. My brother did as well. We're with you, David. Deb. I hate them too, those bastards. Now, hold on. We need a swear jar for Deb. Look what I'm doing. I'm bringing out the potty mouth, and Deb, you got to put $5 in that swear jar. By the way, super chats for anyone who's never used one. We have super chats on our channel, which is awesome. Yeah, she's saying, though, I need a swear jar. If I swear, I got to put money in a... That'd be funny if there was like a... No, see, I don't want to monetize the super chat swear jar, because that'd be cool, like $1 every time I cuss, but then that would just encourage me to cuss the whole show. I used to like haven't listened to Howard Stern in years, but I used to like listening to him try to, in vain. I mean, he successfully did it. He would say the raunchiest shit without saying it, because it was terrestrial radio. It kind of lost its edge when you could say whatever you wanted. Oh, okay. Only in God. But is it in God's name to damn something that we know God would damn? I guess it's just and I've found that there is power in saying the name Jesus Christ. And I've realized it. And the next time I encounter demons, and I did over the Charlie Kirk thing, somebody who was tangentially close to me posted something mocking, well, Charlie said, unfortunately, there's going to have to be some gun deaths. So I guess he got what he wanted. Karma's a bitch. I replied with a curse. I said, fuck you. And I said, find Jesus Christ. The demons do not like hearing the name Jesus Christ. But that's been something I've never just blurted out. Like, you drop your bowl of soup and you're like, JC. I'm like, no, that seems to be in Lord's name. That seems to be cursing in the name of, like, doing it that way. I think. What is that pose? What did you say, Marion? I don't know what that is. That's a pot? Oh, is that a tip jar? Okay, it looks like a jar. Okay, now hold on. I pay for cursing, not you. Okay. Swear jars for me. It's my penalty, but only for God's name. All right. Okay. I don't like the phrase either. But if God is damning something, like, we're supporting that. We're being pro-God, not anti-God. All right. Hardy Boys Media put this out. This is a conversation on Piers Morgan. This is trying to break down the absurdity of what we think we're supposed to believe about the Charlie Kirk assassination. The story's not going away. We're not letting it go away.
I watched that horrific video. He was obviously dead before he hit the ground, but the questions immediately started to come to me. That was not an entry wound that we saw. We saw an exit wound. So where'd that bullet come from? You don't bleed like, and I've shot guys closer than the camera was. And an entry wound doesn't look like that. An exit wound does. Why did his shirt move the way it did? When I've shot people, their shirts didn't move like that. And then the initial reaction was, well, he was obviously wearing body armor and it was deflection. One, no. He wasn't wearing body armor. And two, it doesn't deflect like that off of body armor. Why was his shirt moving from right to left? Why were people being interviewed saying, yeah, they came from my left to right, from his right to left, immediately shut down? And then did they tear the crime scene down immediately? Just right off the bat, from seeing it, knowing he was dead, saying a lot of this is bad, not even getting into the soliloquy of text messages that 22-year-olds don't send their trans lover.
If you were doing that with all your training, you were one of the most elite guys in special forces in American history. If you were dismantling this precise rifle, how long would it take you to do it?
A 30-06, well, it's going to take several minutes. I can't even remember I grew up, my first rifle was a 30-06 in Montana, and I can't remember the last time I took it apart. I could take the bolt out, clean that off, but in order to break it down to the point where you can even walk with a limp, it's going to take a solid 5 minutes, I would guess, with different. I don't even think you use that type of a screwdriver that he had with his DNA conveniently all over it, because everything you touch has your DNA on it. It's just taking it apart, putting it together, taking a shot, cold bore, by the way, where your scope wasn't on there, taking it back apart, putting it in your pants, climbing down a fence, getting back into the woods, putting it together as you're on the run, wrapping it in a towel, then driving 200 miles away to type to my love the 300 lines of text. It's just none of it makes sense to me.
Scott Morgan, you're a forensics.
Doesn't make sense to me. Would you agree or disagree that what we're supposed to be hearing, what we're supposed to believe about the official investigation of Charlie Kirk, it doesn't make sense? Do you agree or disagree that the official story doesn't make sense? I'm going to agree. I'm not buying it.
Scholar, what do you think of what you just heard there from Rob O'Neill?
Yeah, I think it's a fine assessment. One of the problems is that at this point in time, from a medical legal perspective, we don't have any data to go on. All we have are the speculative things that are floating about the internet. There are, by the way, not doing anybody any good here.
The stuff floating around, I said a couple days ago, the more I think I was on Mike Barra's Toxically Masculine Tuesday show, filling in. Hope Dr. Brooks Agnew is doing okay. I know he was in for a procedure, so I filled in. I said, the more I'm learning about this Charlie Kirk situation and the investigation, and the more reports that I'm reading, the dumber I'm getting. That's the tough part when you're investigating something. There's so many theories, and it's like, well, do you want to believe me, or do you want to believe your lying eyes? Oh, there's trap doors, and there wasn't blood, and it was a lapel microphone that exploded, and somebody set it off by going like this on their, or someone was holding a cell phone and shot. Like, if you watch any of these, they're all pseudo believable. You're like, wait, that does look like the guy, the sniper up on top of he was up on that level. That was a teacher's area at the parking garage. That was him right there. No, it was the guy right behind him. No, it was the hand signal guy. No, it was this guy with the shirt thing. No, it was the lapel. You're like, all of these kind of feel plausible, possible. But I feel like I'm getting dumber entertaining these things. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yes, I was right. Marion said that was supposed to be a swear jar. And then here in the tip jar, super chat. Yeah, Kenneth. He made up a swear word now. Finky. There we go. God Finky. Finky sticks. Finky hell, am I right? Marion says it doesn't make any sense. Kenneth agrees. Just Deb agrees. No bueno. Unholy hoax, he agrees. It doesn't make sense. So what is it then? Yeah, prayers up to Brooks Agnew. Everybody join in the prayer. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, creator of this universe, be there with Brooks Agnew as he is working on improving his health. Give him strength and healing and the super competent medical staff to assist him. In your name we pray. Amen. There you go. Prayers up. Cash, you can't hide your lying eyes. I don't know what lying eyes you're talking about. And by the way, we're not going to re-abuse those women by releasing the Epstein videos. Also, there are no Epstein videos. Deb says they're counting on us being dumbed down. Feels like it.
We have a surgeon who was hands-on there that treated Charlie, and he even made reference, I believe, he said that Charlie was a Superman man of steel. In other words, what he's saying, the round passed through and it didn't strike anybody else, that the round, he's implying at least, did in fact embed itself in his body. Now, what the status of that round is, I don't know. We don't have an autopsy report yet either, which is a huge problem. If you want to speculate on wound tracks and these sorts of things. And there are people out there that are actually saying that there was not an autopsy performed, even though it is required by Utah state law. The state medical examiner is put into that position where they have to do the autopsy. So if this is some kind of grand conspiracy, you would have to get a surgeon on board that had no idea this was coming, and you would have to get the chief medical examiner for the state of Utah to agree to this.
You have to be careful. Every investigation has to be built on facts, right? On evidence, on information. And our tendency, because we want an immediate answer, because we've all been trained for that, and everybody's got ADHD, is they don't have the patience. And as was just pointed out, I agree with everything that was just said.
Not a lot of patience. Investigations take time, so it's just when they neatly wrap this up into a bow tie and it doesn't make sense. Like, no, you got to untie that. That doesn't make sense. I'm not quite buying it.
You got to give these investigations time to sort themselves out. But that's not what people want. They want an immediate answer. And if you don't fill that void, they're just going to make crap up. Look, this guy obviously looked at Butler as an example. Rob said it himself. At what point do we look around? You could have scouted that perimeter and without really any formal training and said, I think I see a few problems here. And that's, I would look at this from more of an operational perspective, is how do you prevent the next one? How could you have prevented this? Well, look, it's hindsight, and that's a terrible thing to go on. But at the same time, they should have locked this down a long time ago. Charlie was getting death threats. He talked about them. Yep. He shouldn't have been doing events out in the open. You'd put them inside where you could, lock down the perimeter. You could screen people. You put up metal detectors. You just provide a more secure environment.
When I watched that horrific video, he was obviously dead before.
So yeah, we're not going to let it go. Unholy Hoax. TMT, Toxically Masculine Tuesday, was great. Glad to see you and Blake together again. Yes, absolutely. Deb, now you can't type that word out. That's a tip jar infraction for you. You did spell it slightly different, but David says it sounds like one lie after another and it doesn't make sense at all. Agreed. Brian and Blake were great together, but Brian got too progressive for Blake. He's the progressive. He's the no, and if we're not talking about Israel, like we get along on a lot of these issues, definitely. And and there were spirited conversations like we're supposed to be having. Spirited. I'm like, if you're going to claim there was a stand down order with certainty, show me what are you referencing? Who said there was a stand down? Well, it's not that I have a report. It's just that, anything you couldn't have a bird land pass over the border of Israel without people knowing. That's not quite evidence. I definitely took issue with that. I'm like, if you got evidence, put it out there. Show me what you're talking about. And I'm not necessarily even saying you're wrong. Not even saying that you're wrong. I just show me the proof. It's like on the math test. Don't give me the answer. Show me the work. Show me how your brain put together the answer. Let me see how you came up with it. I know you're kidding, obviously. I know. Wait, I got possessive of Blake? Possessive. You're kidding. Wait, possessive or progressive? I guess I did read that wrong. Possessive. I don't know. Okay. Well, hey, here's our favorite topic, right? The one that I've tried avoiding most of the time that I've been on these shows, because it's just, the topic is awful. Anything regarding Israel and the Jews. It's a topic I don't like dancing in, but you know what? It's all there. Reading the comments section, how many people are blaming Israel and Mossad? A lot of them. A lot of them, based on a lot of reporting.
Chosen people. The chosen people are people who choose Jesus. That is the Christian message right there. It's not an anti-Semitic message, by the way. It's the Christian message. It's the core Christian message. And yet there are many self-described representatives of the Christian faith who are daily sending a different message. And we should be very clear. Whatever this is, it's not Christianity. It is heresy. And among the many examples we could pick, we're going to go with Lindsey Graham.
A word of warning. If America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us.
God will kill you if you don't support Bibi Netanyahu.
Do you understand how effed up that is? Do you understand how weird that sounds? If you don't do what I say, if you don't do what Benjamin Netanyahu says, God will destroy America. You ought to run this person out of town on a rail. It doesn't work that way.
That's what he's saying. He will pull the plug on you like a quadriplegic in intensive care. You're going to flatline unless you support the secular abortion-on-demand government of Israel. That's the Christian perspective, really. That God loves some people more because of their DNA?
Mm-hmm. Lindsey Graham, by the way. Lindsey Graham. That fella's got more skeletons in his closet than Ben Franklin's basement. Oh, that's a deep cut.
That is not the Christian message.
Nope.
That's the
and this whole, they're God's chosen people. Huh? If you chose God and Jesus Christ, and the Jews and Romans executed him, oh, that's another phrase you're not allowed to talk about. That's too much noticing. You're not allowed to say such things. Chosen. Okay. No, we chose Jesus Christ. The Jews did not. Along with the Romans, executed him. No, the Crusades were not an offensive measure proving how evil Christianity is. It was a counter attack against the invading Islamic hordes, these invading Islamic armies that were trying to dominate the earth in a caliphate. Our schools have been misreporting things for a long time. Our social media, our lying legacy media has been twisting everything forever. Unholy hoax. Israel is no friend. They need to stop calling criticism anti-Semitism. It's getting old. It's not getting old. They lost me. I almost always, because I will never side with a radical Islamic terrorist attack. They can. Oh, what was your fake word, Kenneth? What was your fake word? In your super chat, he said, finky. Radical Islamic terrorists can finky right off. They can finky off. What's happening? Finky. I had a fake word. I had an ongoing joke with my brother that the worst word that you could say is squigmonger. Don't even whisper it. Squigmonger. I don't know where I came up with that. Lindsay Barf. David says, Jesus Christ is salvation. Yeah, well, that would be hate speech according to the Defamation League. I'm sorry, Anti-Defamation League. That's the Defamation League. No, God's chosen people. If you're a Christian, it's Jesus Christ. Those are the chosen people. It ain't the people that worked along with the Romans to execute Jesus Christ. It's like the opposite of that. Well, they're our greatest ally. Are they? Because it kind of seems like they're the puppet masters, and they've been rumored to be behind the JFK assassination. They? What do you mean they? The government of Israel? Maybe. It's been suspected. What you talking about, Herschel? Yeah, when you say it's getting old, I don't like Benjamin Netanyahu, how he acts. He's allegedly, reportedly going around bragging about how he has the United States and President Trump in his back pocket. It looks like he's the one hiding the Epstein list, the CIA Mossad alleged honeypot campaign to abuse kids. If you're systematically abusing kids to maintain power and control, you deserve to lose all of your fucking power and control, you fucking creeps. Whether that's Mossad, whether it's CIA, I don't know who it is. I mean, we know, but we don't know. We literally don't know, but we all suspect. Not all of us, but a lot of us suspect. They've overplayed their hand, and they have lost the support of many. They've lost Gen Z. They're gone. In fact, they're having to pay influencers $7,000 a post to be like, hey, pro-Israel. Israel's great. When you got to pay people to get your point across, that sounds like bribery. And I guess if you're able to press a button and digitize money out of thin air, wow. Well, don't you want this valuable money that I just created out of thin air? I conjured it like a magician. You can shove that valuable piece of paper up your fucking ass. But it's money. But we have a lot of money, so you got to do as I say. How about fuck you? Is that okay? Or would the Defamation League say, you're being a bad boy right now, aren't you? Who the fuck was talking to you? I've never been so anti. I've never been so mistrusting, suspicious. I've never been this suspicious of Israel before. Never. And how many things that we thought were true were not. What were the dancing Israelis up to on 9/11? Did you notice that? Is it wrong to be noticing that? It just, this stuff. What did Ben Shapiro say about Jesus Christ to Joe Rogan? Yeah, he was just a rabble rouser. He was just a troublemaker. Yeah, but he was a prophet. No, he wasn't a prophet. He was just a troublemaker. Oh, okay. But the people that call Jesus a troublemaker are the chosen people? Chosen by who exactly? No, this isn't just Tucker. This isn't just Candace. This isn't just Charlie. This is everybody. We all see what's going on, and we don't like it. That's not to say I'm pro-radical Islamic extremist. Nope. Those two kids won't keep punching each other in the sandbox. Like, that's not, like, what? No. Yeah, it's getting old. I call them the Khazarians or the Illuminate. Deb off the top rope with a super chat. When you're using the curse word finky, you must raise your pinky as a hand gesture. Finky you. Instead of that one. Finky you. Okay, that's kind of funny. I love how we're getting all these awesome inside jokes. We're the trash pandas, the TNAM trash pandas. We could just go like this, and this means fuck off. And if you're not a part of the crew, if you're not a regular, you don't even understand what this means. Raise a pinky. Oh, if anyone wants to raise a pinky on their New American Media mug, well, hang on, I gotta be careful. It's right above my computer. It's hard to lift a pinky while you're holding it up. As I say, pinky's up. Finky pinky. Wow. We are off the rails. I love this. Oh, did you know, according to them, Jesus was an alien? Where do you get that from? And by the way, aren't we all aliens? And isn't all godly, angelic reports from, the ancient aliens days and go across every continent, beings from the heavens descending in chariots of fire from the skies? That's extraterrestrial, Holmes. Or, like you're kind of hearing a little bit now, that they're submersible. They're underwater UAPs, aerial phenomenon. That in the deepest trenches of our water, they have their underground bases where the craft emerged from. And they've been there since time immemorial. So yeah, was Jesus an alien? That's a great concept. A virgin birth? What even is that? Like they go, oh, Noah's Ark. And you go, hold on. You're really saying you have two ducks and two elephants? Or was it DNA? You had the DNA of all of it. And Noah's Ark was a technological concept. That was an ancient aliens theory. And it's like, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the Khazarians, who took over that piece of land called Israel. And by the way, if that's the land of Jesus Christ, why isn't it the land of Christians? Why isn't that a Christian territory? If you don't revere Jesus Christ and you don't care about Bethlehem and Judea and the greater land of Israel at this point, like that's Christian land. Those are the holy Christian sites. And if you aren't Christian, why do you get a claim to the Christian lands? That should be Christian controlled, shouldn't it? The Jewish people have rejected Jesus Christ as the Lord of earth, the Son of God. Oh no. We're having some difficult conversations now, aren't we? That would have been the story coming from the Antichrist. Deb says, I feel that the UFO community is always trying to discredit Jesus and his resurrection. Yeah, have at it. Deb's just about done with the UFO community. I mean, you know, I love that Ancient Aliens series, though.
Opposite of the Christian message. The Christian message is universal. That's the whole point of it. The chosen people in Christianity are those who choose Jesus. The entire New Testament is that story. And anyone who says otherwise has not read it or is lying.
Yeah. Jesus' followers are the chosen people. Button. Christ is King, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. I mean, we've reached a point. We've reached a tipping point. Okay. By the way, why are you so negative? You don't like Israel and the Jews? Dude, I've led most of my life trying not to have an opinion on the topic because it's been pure poison on both sides. There are a lot of poison. They said, sir, there's a lot of poisonous people on both sides. I've tried to avoid the subject. I hate talking about it. But now that I am, I'm just calling it as I see it. Dave says, of course, all royalty was of Jesus' bloodline, and he came from aliens. Not my story, it's theirs. Well, prefer antient alien bourbon. What is that? Antient alien bourbon? Is that a thing? If there's alien bourbon, I'd try it. All right, here's Representative Chip Roy of Texas. So, oh my gosh, it's so anti-Israel. No, we can be anti-Islamic takeover as well. It can be anti a lot of things. You're so hateful. I hate not allowing my country to be taken over in a coup. Yeah, I don't like the deep state. No, I don't want a caliphate. No, I don't think your people are the chosen people because you chose poorly by not accepting the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ as your Lord of Lords, King of Kings. Oh, no. Are we not allowed to say obvious things out loud like water is wet and the sky is blue? Well, I guess not on TikTok anymore. Now that Larry Ellison has purchased it, you can't even put a juice box. Oh, the censorship is still here. The power for the minds of Gen Z, it is afoot. And you have to learn from what's happening in the United Kingdom. I think for a lot of time, people looked at Israel as like a stalwart, as a barricade, as a border, as a wall, as a repelling force against the creeping Sharia law push, the attempt to turn the world into a global caliphate, where you submit to Islam. The warlord who had a 6-year-old wife, that's the Lord of Lords. That's the King of Kings in Islam. I'm not signing up for that. Who is the God in so if Jesus is Christ, is King of Kings, what does Judaism worship? What is their You got Yahweh. I don't know. This stuff gets so convoluted. We have a right to pick whatever we want. But Christians have no right to force on other people, you must do this. Convert or die. That's what Islam is. You are a infidel who must be slaughtered if you don't buy our version of our flying spaghetti monster in the sky. That doesn't fly. That's not freedom. That's not a world we're willing to accept. And Chip Roy's warning us, watch the UK.
I mean, is anybody paying attention to what's happening in London? I'm going to say it here on the floor of the House to get the scorn of people when I say you've got a massive Muslim takeover of the United Kingdom going on right before our eyes. They would say, Chip, well, what is wrong with that? Well, I've got some pretty strong concerns about Sharia law and whether that'll be forced upon the American people. In this case, the people of the United Kingdom. I've got pretty strong concerns about people who want to see Israel's destruction, who were happy about October 7th, who were elected in the United Kingdom. Some might say that we've seen that here in the United States. What are we going to do about that? We have 51.5 million people who are foreign born in the United States. They have about 20 to 25 million kids. That puts that well over 20-something% of our population. It's the highest such number in the history of our country. People say, well, isn't that great? Is it? Are we teaching people about Western civilization? Are we teaching people about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the rule of law? Are we teaching them Western values? Are we teaching them God exists? Are we teaching them the importance of freedom? I mean, is anybody paying attention to what's happening in London? I'm going to say it here on the floor of the House to get the scorn of people when I say you've got a massive Muslim takeover of the United Kingdom.
Yep. And so I get if it's like, no, we have to support Israel because they're a pushback against the caliphate, the radical Islamic takeover. And to say radical Islamic takeover, is that accurate or is it just Islam? Islam is a political ideology. It's founded by a warlord. I think thousands of deaths are attributed to his hands. It's to conquer everywhere and implement Sharia law or else. The UK has rolled over and accepted it. Their kids are being groomed and graped. Because in certain cultures, yeah, that's what you do to people. That if they're not on your team, you destroy them. You use them up. That's gross. David says, can we possibly agree that we are in a state of hell at the moment? I mean, certainly feels like it, huh? Here's more from Tucker. Oh my God, did you hear this one?
During the 12-day war, such as it was with Iran, the U.S. and Israel versus Iran, bombing on all sides. During that short conflict, IDF officers in the Pentagon, foreign military officers in the Pentagon, and by the way, they're not the only foreign military officers in the Pentagon, to be clear. There are NATO officers, they're from other countries, British, but there are a bunch of Israeli Defense Force officers in the Pentagon that week. And during that week, ask anyone who works at the Pentagon, they enraged American Pentagon staff by just barging into meetings, giving orders, making demands, and nobody did anything about it. How can a foreign military officer barge into military headquarters, even if invited, but barge into a meeting and start demanding, we want this, we want that, you need to get on this? Huh? The more you allow that kind of deeply unhealthy behavior, the more you're going to get. And that's exactly what has happened. Because of the weakness of our leaders, we have incited predators in a foreign country to take advantage of us. Oh, that's such an anti-Israel thing to say. It's not anti-Israel at all. It's a demand that the people whose job it is, whose sacred duty it is to defend and represent us, our leaders, both at the Pentagon and all throughout the U.S. government, that they do that they stand up and defend us against all potential threats against all foreign countries to the extent they need to, and that they do not prostrate themselves before a foreign nation. That's just basic. Why have a government, especially a strong government, if it's taking orders from another weaker government? And that is the state of play. And it has been for a very long time. And they're not even pretending. During the 12-day
That's disgusting and terrifying, isn't it? Steven Crowder's back at it. You know what? Stand up, speak boldly. It's time. If our soul is eternal, we got to answer to what we do on this planet, and we're either going to roll over and accept being conquered because a couple of violent people are threatening us to sit down, shut up, don't speak up. You don't want to be called bad names. You don't want to risk this. You don't want to risk that. You risk it all. This is temporary. Our soul is eternal. Here's Steven Crowder.
The newest Change My Mind is up. You can watch it on YouTube or Rumble, obviously, preferably. It's been years. That's the reason for the topic. The left is violent. Change my mind. And it required a small army to make it happen. I've never been so familiar with Kevlar. Didn't know they made lingerie, as well as panes of glass and walls. And it was a pop-up show with no prior announcement, no speakers. But you know what? It's exactly what we were hoping. That's what Change My Mind was meant to be. Some people, actually, I'd wager all of them, changed their mind. See, they didn't change my mind, though. That's the jujitsu. Go watch it on Rumble. The newest Change My Mind is up. You can watch it on YouTube or Rumble, obviously, preferably. It's been years. That's the reason for the
The left is violent. Change my mind. You change your mind by being peaceful. David will say it again. Where are the arrests of these satanic creatures? I mean, you know. Hey, remember when I said whatever we're doing is fruitless? It's fine to grab a bucket. Oh, this is perfect for Deb. And I'm sorry you're going through the water situation. I hope you're able to get through this and handle it. But the boat that you're on, if it's taking in water, it's fine. Grab a bucket, start grabbing a bucket of water and dumping it overboard. That's fine. But if you don't address the underlying hole in the hull of the boat, it's pointless. You need to get to the problem and put some flex tape on it. You need to seal it. Otherwise, no matter how much you bail out, it's going to take in more than you can take out. And if we don't fix the media, and that could mean a lot of things, and our schools, we're going to keep cranking out crazy. So in this budget battle, the Democrat Schumer shutdown, here's a reminder from MRC Newsbusters. The leftist lying legacy media will always blame Republicans for a government shutdown. Remember, they will always blame Republicans, regardless of who's in power. So take a listen back to 2013 and beyond.
One faction in one house of Congress is ready to bring the entire federal government to a halt.
This is a shutdown brought on by the Republican Party.
It is just incredible to me to watch these Republicans putting on their suicide vests.
What we're seeing happen in America right now, I think, is economic terrorism.
They've been called the Suicide Caucus. It's been called a political hostage taking. Yes. It's been called political extortion.
The Republicans are saying, give in to us because we would rather shut down the government than extend health care to 11 million people.
Laura Ingraham and Ann Coulter started challenging the president's manhood, and the House Republicans started stamping their feet, and the president decided, no, I'm going to scream and yell and shut down the government.
No one knows what the president is willing to sign, where he is willing to compromise, if at all.
The Democrats are defending a principle here that you don't negotiate with terrorists when they're holding hostages, and the president is holding the government hostage.
They are out to prove that they, The Democrats are the responsible party of government and can bring order to the chaos of Trump's Washington.
35 days. 35 days of federal workers rationing.
Now we're in 2019 again. Just they never stop doing this. They work tirelessly to lie about Republicans, to demonize them so that crazy people will get violent. It's their playbook. We have to stop it. We have to pull the plug on their lying legacy media, Smith-Mundt Act, garbage propaganda.
Asthma medicine for their kids, sleeping in cars. This man single-handedly shut down the government. It is shameful.
One faction in one house of
Lying legacy media is poison. Conversation on Islam. This is Lauren Southern.
Is Islam protected, and yet criticism of Islam is regarded as somehow dangerous?
Criticism of Islam is somehow dangerous. This was Lauren Southern 10 years ago. She anticipated what was coming. Hashtag free Europe, hashtag multiculturalism. Here you go.
Because we fear Islam. Islam is the dominant cultural force right now. Right now, the West has an identity crisis. We don't even know what our laws are going to be. We don't know what our values are. We've kind of rejected Christianity. We're erasing our statues, tearing our history down, changing our anthems like we have in Canada. We have an identity crisis. Islam knows who they are. They know what they want. They want a global caliphate. Mm-hmm. And so Islam is dominating the Western world. And right now, this is just an inkling of what the future is going to look like. They're still a minority in Western countries. And while all these people will tout open borders, multiculturalism, as soon as Islamists become over 50% of your population, you will see your country looking exactly like any Islamic nation in the world. And suddenly the LGBT activists won't be as happy about this open borders situation. Suddenly the liberal women that are being stoned for the crime of rape will start to realize what they've gotten themselves into. And I fear that it may have to get to these horrific points before people wake up and open their eyes.
But Lauren, let me ask you, I mean, we've seen, for example, in Sweden, that the native-born white Swedes will be a minority, I think by 2040 is what they're saying, but in part, not just because of migration, but because of the fertility of the immigrant population. If a culture is simply much more fertile, then doesn't it deserve to inherit the earth?
Well, not when it was never put to a referendum. No one in Sweden or Canada or Australia, for that matter, was asked, do you want people with a completely different culture to immigrate here and create their own cultural enclaves? No one was asked. We believe in the right to sovereignty for every nation and every people in the world. And we respect that. No one is ever telling the Japanese, destroy your culture. You must bring in tons of Koreans. You must bring in tons of Africans. Or, right, well, people have to understand where these religions came. If someone said it was a highly Christian area, I wouldn't be concerned because
Christians are like, hey, would you like to come to church? Can I tell you about Jesus Christ? Nah, man, I'm good. All right, cool. Like, that's it. It's not cool. From other sides. It's just not.
Christianity is actually what formed much of the West and most of our freedoms. And the reason for that is Christianity is based on choice. You can choose to follow God. You can choose to say goodbye. You choose to eat from the tree of good and evil, right? It's all based on these choices that you make, and God gives you that free choice. Whereas Islam has always been based on submission. You submit to Allah, and you cannot leave or you will be killed. So is that a religion that is compatible with Western culture? No. And very well, have your faith. If everyone agrees with you and wants to live in a society under Sharia law, have that. But there was never a referendum here in Australia to bring that here. It was enforced and imposed on us by a small group of elites, as it has been all over much of the Western world.
Is Islam?
Got to have these conversations, people. Tucker having conversations.
The prime minister of Israel goes on television to openly meddle in internal American politics, taking sides, attacking people, Americans, because they're not fully on board with sending billions more to a country of 9 million people.
He talked about the woke right, and he said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're we have to fight back. How do we fight back? are influencers. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok, number one. And the other one, X. You know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. We have to fight the fight.
Anyone who opposes me in the United States, who opposes more aid to Israel or opposes getting sucked into war with Iran, which does not serve American interests, that person is not simply mistaken or wrong. I'm not going to bother to explain why that person is wrong. That person is a Nazi, part of the woke Reich, a Nazi. And the only way to fix it is by preventing Americans in the last country on earth with guaranteed freedom of speech, prevent Americans from hearing the other side. And so we push Congress to force a TikTok sale, which is true, by the way. And when that happened, and various members of Congress were like, no, really, it's about China. There were people online who said, no, I think it's really about Israel. Here he is just admitting, no, we pushed the U.S. Congress to censor in the United States, to commit censorship in the United States because we think it's bad for us. And we need to talk to Elon. You know, that's the point at which you just say no. The prime minister.
Yep. Deb says they want us to think that most people reject Christianity, but it's the opposite. They are anti-Christian, not us. Whew. Yeah, it's not that this show is becoming more religious. Politics, current events are getting more religious. And we just talk about what people are talking about. Ultimate battle of good and evil, people. There's a global war for resources, power, control, global control grids. Look at this, 1984. Raging West put out a satire 1984 sand art piece, appeared on Scarborough Beach in the United Kingdom. Minutes later, the police arrived. The jokes write themselves. Comment says this was on South Bay, my hometown. Literally right behind this picture is the Grand Hotel, which has the top 2 or 3 floors full of aliens, to which they've destroyed rooms and opened fires in the hotel. The staff don't enter the top of the hotel anymore due to safety concerns. That's insane. The first rule about 1984, don't talk about 1984. Yeah, it's Fight Club. The streets will be much safer now when the sand is not offensive. The police came for a drawing in the sand. Europe is under attack. More Tucker Carlson. Did you really think that exploding Charlie Kirk was going to make people stop talking? All you've done is galvanize millions of us to be more staunch, to be more truthful, to try to censor our language and debate politely. But polite doesn't mean weak. That's your mistake. Whoever did that to Charlie, you know what? We're all on borrowed time. None of us live forever. There's an expiration date everywhere for all of us. So what's important? I think our eternal soul is important, and that is worth fighting for. And I'll be damned if you're going to intimidate me. If that was a calculated move to get people to sit down and shut up, you fucked up. Big time. Big time. I haven't played this much Tucker Carlson content in a while. Doing it now. You killed Charlie. Can't have a polite conversation, so you get Tucker. By the way, Tucker's very good too.
So right now, as we speak tonight, there are 2 THAAD missile batteries in Israel. That's 1/4 of the world's total supply of THAAD missile batteries. The THAAD missile battery is an American-made, very high-tech missile battery that takes incoming missiles out of the sky. And 1/4 of the world's entire supply of these is in Israel right now, manned by U.S. troops, by Americans. In uniform or not, they are American military personnel, and they are manning these batteries to protect Israel. And that shouldn't surprise you because since October 7th, 2023, which is a little less than 2 years ago, the United States has spent at minimum $30 billion defending Israel. Huge. And for some perspective, the entire Israeli military budget before October 7th was about $25 billion. So the United States has put at least $30 billion into defending Israel in less than 2 years. Over the course of its existence, a little less than 80 years, the United States has put $300 billion, at least, those are just the on-books numbers, into supporting Israel. $300 billion. Israel is by far, no one comes close, the largest recipient of U.S. aid over time and currently. So anyone who says, oh, it's just a drop in the bucket, it's totally insignificant, is lying or doesn't know the numbers. By the way, number 2 is Egypt. So why are we spending so much money on Egypt? Well, we're doing it at the request of Israel. So you could probably add that to the tally. It's not an attack. It's merely perspective. We are spending our time, our money,
treasure,
and we're taking enormous risks on behalf of a country that geopolitically is not significant at all. The interesting thing is, most Americans have no idea that this is true. They don't know how disproportionate our attention to Israel and our spending on Israel is relative to the rest of the world. And if you want some sense of how disproportionate, India and China combined, neither of which is a strong ally at the moment, combined represent more than a third of the entire world's population. Both are rivals economically, both are rivals militarily, at least potentially. And our relationship with them has gotten worse, or is at the very least languished, because of our relationship with Israel, because of the bandwidth consumed by tending to it, and also because of some of the inevitable conflicts that have arisen because of our support for Israel, which is engaged in an extremely controversial, which is to say hated war in Gaza, which is not even really a war. It's a massive displacement of people and killing on a grand scale of unarmed people, of unarmed combatants, of civilians, of women and children. So right now, as we speak tonight, there are 2 THAAD missile batteries in Israel. That's one.
Yeah, no. What is this? In 1967, says Ed Jazbalu. 1967, Israel attacked the USS Liberty, killing 34 U.S. servicemen. Survivor Phil Turney insists it was deliberate. In 2002, Netanyahu urged the U.S. Congress to invade Iraq, leading to over 1 million Iraqi deaths and thousands of American casualties. Israel sheltered American spy Jonathan Pollard, celebrated by Netanyahu upon release. In 1947, the Zionist Ergun sent a letter bomb to assassinate President Truman. What? While the Stern Gang plotted to kill British Prime Minister Churchill, Israel is no ally of America, they say. Gies says Israel must really have so much fucking dirt on the U.S. that they know if that information were to get out, all faith U.S. citizens had in the U.S. government would be lost if it was actually leaked. You can't convince me there is any other reason at this point why we are spending more money on their defense than on the entire country's defense budget than they are. Epstein files must run deep. Israel is a parasitic apartheid state that wouldn't survive without U.S. intervention. I mean, just read the comments. People are done. I'm not saying those are my words. I'm exploring the subject. Lindsey Graham. You must support this particular politician or God's going to destroy us. It's not how it works, Lindsey. Pinkies up. Pinkies unite. Ah, that's great. Laura, we'd like to give you the double pinky salute. Hello, Laura. Thank you for joining us today. Oh, Lauren. Yeah, see, this is the lie that they put out. She's paid to do this. If it's a she. No, Republicans do not have the 60 votes needed to pass the budget. It's the Democrats who are not jumping on with 51? What's the number exactly? Getting close to zero support. It's the Democrats who are responsible for this. Nice try, though. See, Benjamin Netanyahu wants to pay people $7,000 to post content like this because they're trying to sow seeds of doubt into our brains. That stuff doesn't work here, but good on you. Good on ya. People do confuse faith with religion. What is the difference between faith and religion, Deb? Unholy Hoax says, I like Tucker a lot. He's been knocking it out of the park. Deb says, when I was in my early teens, my pastor said in our lifetime, Christians will be persecuted just like Jesus's day. I didn't believe it was possible, but here we are. Same. Same. I can drop that in my bucket. Yeah, see, here's another lie from Lauren. Lauren the liar. None of them are close to being happy. When will they be happy? Well, the fewer obstructionists in the deep state Democrat Party that are around, the better. So I'd say at the midterms, when we can flush out a whole bunch of the traitors, get a little bit better. Biden left us quite a mess from his Obama puppet presidency. We raise our pinky to you, Laura. Real men of genius. Here's to you, our trolling sock puppet account. Pinky and Finky. Yeah, Tucker Carlson, everybody. There's a freedom that comes along with no longer being on Fox, that's for sure. Here's Stephen Miller. Look, the president, and we're starting to finally address the criminality in these backward blue states, these blue cities that are celebrating and encouraging violent acts to happen to their residents. They're traitors to their people, to their residents, to their citizens. Straight traitors, yo. Stephen Miller has thoughts about Memphis, one of the worst cities in our country.
Memphis Police Department, to the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all-of-government unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have. And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests. These are people who have taken down drug cartels, kingpins, the worst criminal offenders in the United States, standing with you shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the criminal element that has plagued it for generations. This is not just a strategy shift. This is an attitude shift. We are not going to live in an environment anywhere where there is a street that belongs to a criminal, where there is a neighborhood that belongs to a gang, where there is any physical space anywhere that belongs to anyone other than the law-abiding citizens and families of Memphis. The idea that there is a square inch of block in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable.
Yep.
This is Memphis. This is the United States of America, and all that bullshit is done. It's over. It's finished. To the Memphis.
That is the phrase everybody's using. Hegseth is using it. Stephen Miller's using it. That bullshit is over. It's done. It's finished. Yes, Trash Panda Texas, perfect. Lauren, be sure to hit the thumbs up or the pinkies up on your way out. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah. It's weird because the comments coming through on YouTube, but I'm not seeing it on the comments on YouTube. There's funky ghosts in the system with YouTube and their algorithms. That's for sure. But good. Clean up Memphis. It's overdue. All right. Anti-labor protest has erupted in Liverpool during the labor conference. Farmers, bikers, and thousands of ordinary people are hitting the streets to oppose digital ID. Keir Starmer's days are numbered, says Raging West. YouTube will flag me for copyright on that one.
Wales flags, we've got the lot. The Saltaire. Oh, mate, there are so many people here. Hey up, Ned, how you doing, man?
Speak up now or forever hold your peace. Also, if the church you go to is woke, switch churches this week. Do it immediately.
There was an intentional.
This is Matt Shea talking to Laura Logan saying there was an intentional change.
Infiltration of the church in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s by the Marxists, and they knew the power of the church. And so Bella Dodd's testimony before the House Un-American Affairs Committee, she specifically said there were 2,000 that were infiltrated into seminaries. And now we're seeing the results of that infiltration, which is what you just talked about.
Oh, these Marxist priests.
Yeah. Immorality. Yeah, that's the natural result of that infiltration. So
the
we need
fruits of that labor, right? Because they didn't infiltrate. Marxists don't support God or faith of any kind. They don't support the church. In fact, you can't have any faith in a Marxist society or communist society. So when they're infiltrating the seminaries, it's not to learn or to give or to grow. It's to destroy.
It is. And to steal and destroy, to be even more specific. Yes. Sounds like that's from the scripture. It's so fascinating, though, if you read what our enemies say about the United States, they tell us what made America great. The atheist communist Chinese, in a book was written by David Aikman called Jesus in Beijing, pages 15 and 16, he literally talks about a study done by the Beijing Academy of Sciences. They studied everything, our economy, they studied our politics, they studied our technology, our military, everything over 20 years. And they came to one realization that what made the West great was Christianity. That moral framework gave rise to innovation, gave rise to entrepreneurialism, gave rise to charity, gave rise to functioning systems that otherwise would not function because of human nature. And so the atheist communist Chinese recognizes that Christianity is what made America great, and we're still having this argument in this country. It's a little bit mind-blowing, and I think we need to be honest about the centrality of Christianity to the United States of America, that without it, this country is not going to be great. This country is going to head in the wrong direction.
So that's kind
there
of
was an intentional infiltration of the church in the 1950s.
This isn't a religious show. It's that politics have become religious. Religion has become political. Maybe it always has been. But people have been scared to talk about it. There's no more scared to talk about it. I've been covering these stories. Tucker Carlson, Laura Logan, all the best people, Glenn Greenwald, all the best are talking about all the elephants in the room you're not supposed to talk about. The GIs walking in Memphis. They're walking in Memphis. Who sings that song? Yeah, if they thought shutting up Charlie Kirk was going to shut us up, it's done the exact opposite, and we are so wide-eyed. We are clearly seeing these problems now. The bullying, the manipulation, the blackmail, the bribery, the violence. Fuck you. Nope. It is a battle of good and evil. Oh, you're ratcheting up the rhetoric. I'm calling it like it is. Well, you know, that's what the other side says. Well, the other side's wrong. That's the difference. Yeah, Laura Logan, she used some of my footage from January 6th.
Why won't you have a digital ID?
This is in Montgomery Toms, looks like in England here, talking about digital ID. Here you go.
Tell me that again. I don't have a digital ID because I'm a free man with free will in a free country. Do you think that they're using the migrant crisis to bring in a digital ID? 100%. 100%. This is the plan. Divide and conquer. I was ridiculed by people, by family, by friends. I lost so many people to COVID when I was exposing what these scumbags are doing. Did you go on the protest? I was on protest. I was on a COVID protest. All you have to do is look at China. China is run by a social credit system. Everything is controlled by your credit score in China, and that's exactly the same system they want to implement over here. They do not care about you. The health system in this country is fucked. The police system's fucked, and no one is coming to save you people. You have to save yourself.
There you go. Nobody's coming to save you. I said something very similar a moment ago. Mark Cohn wrote Walking in Memphis. 1991. COHN. I'm walking in Memphis. My face and feet off a pier. I don't know what that is. Put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane, touched down in the land of the Delta Blues in the middle of the pouring rain. WC Handy, won't you look down over me? Yeah, I got a first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Then I'm walking in Memphis. Was walking with my feet 10 feet off of Beale. Oh. Was walking with my feet 10 feet off of Beale. I'm walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Saw the ghost of Elvis on Union Avenue, followed him up to the gates of Graceland, then I watched him walk right through. Now, security, they did not see him, but they just hovered around his tomb. But there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king down in the jungle room. All right, walking in Memphis. Didn't have that on my bingo card for today, but here we are. Did you hear about this? President Trump is not safe. And by the way, did you hear him at the speech yesterday? Or 2 days ago, whenever that was with Hegseth and people? He sounds exhausted, tired. He's an old man. You got to protect him. Anytime he's out doing these events and stuff, I mean, it's not secure. Look at what just happened. NYPD cop snuck into the Ryder Cup in tactical gear, claiming he was working security for Trump.
Get to a story actually just came out a little while ago. NYPD cops snuck into.
Oh, I'll elaborate on that, but I did want to. Deb said, religion is a doctrine. Faith is a relationship with Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah, and Lisa Marie Presley might have sang it, but it was written by Mark Cohn.
To Ryder Cup in tactical gear, claimed he was working security for Trump. This is Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart. An exclusive report in the New York Post claims that an NYPD detective on sick leave gained entry into the Ryder Cup by wearing full tactical gear and claiming he was working security for President Trump. According to the Post sources, Detective Melvin Eng, 46, arrived at the tournament and informed officials that he was working security for the federal government. That was enough to get Eng into the tournament. His ruse was only undone after he dropped his gun magazine on the grass, at which point real security officers took notice and subsequently removed him from the tournament.
What a putz.
You are out sick. What are you doing at the Ryder Cup? One veteran cop told the Post. You can't do that. And it's a theft of service because you went in for free and then you lied and said you worked for Donald Trump. I mean, I can't believe what I'm reading here.
Now, theft of service, just walking into an event, like, you know, whatever. I've done that. I've done things. And if you're asked to leave, you just leave and you pay the ticket. That's what I've said about illegal aliens. You want to come in so bad, walk out, go to the front door, figure it out. It doesn't have to be a capital offense, depending on what you're doing once you're inside. If you're there to cause problems, now that's a whole other story.
Another police source said, what if he was looking to hurt someone? He got in there with his gun, past the Secret Service, past the state police. The breach of security raises serious questions about the vulnerability of sporting events and how easily someone might be able to penetrate the outer security layers of such an event. Detective Eng was suspended on Monday morning and is facing administrative charges for theft of services. The NYPD did not respond to a request for comment.
But he is a legit, it's not impersonating. He's a legit.
No, he's legit. But he wasn't on that detail.
Yeah, I get that, but why dropping of the magazine was what I don't understand. That
I guess when he dropped it, somebody recognized him. One of the other guys that was on the force who said, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to be here." So it must have called attention. Somebody dropping a magazine. I think you hear that rustling or whatever, and they were kind of, that's odd. What happened with this guy? So 46-year-old guy, and somebody said, "What are you doing? You're out on sick leave.
What are you doing dropping a magazine?"
Yeah, that's the bigger question. What the hell was he doing with his weapon?
Yeah, I mean, yes. So, one veteran cop told the Post, so you can't do that, and it's a theft of service. So, this is really a disturbing story, Big D, that the guy could even get in when he wasn't indeed on the detail, and nobody's checking creds. I mean, you would think that for sure they would,
But if he would have had creds. I mean, what do you mean?
Well, he was a police officer, but he wasn't. But there should be a list or something. You shouldn't be able to walk in. He wasn't supposed to be there. The point being is if it was somebody else, they could have got in as an imposter very easily.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a crazy story.
I want to get to a story actually just came out a little while ago. NYPD cops snuck into Ryder Cup in tactical gear.
Yeah, Secret Service needs to step it up.
Why this?
Benny Johnson talking about the Netflix cancellation. Show of hands. Have any of you, this goes out to you, Lauren. Did you cancel your Netflix subscription yet? Anybody else? Tell me.
Netflix cancellation campaign has gone so viral with hundreds of thousands of people canceling their Netflix subscriptions, including Elon Musk.
And by the way, people are asking, what if you got an X streaming service that was like Netflix? I mean, it's just a delivery mechanism. You don't need Netflix for anything.
Number one trend in the world, and Netflix has lost billions of dollars in their stock. You can see right here an absolute collapse today. The reason why this is actually happening isn't your standard red versus blue political issue. It's a lot deeper than that. It's a moral issue. Have you seen what Netflix has been putting in their children's shows? This isn't like we're trying to push one way or the other. We want Democrats to win.
It's kind of like how Netanyahu's paying people $7,000 for a post to try to just keep bombarding you with messaging, almost like, controlling of the media.
We want everyone likes socialism. It's not like that, okay? Open borders even. It's so much worse. They're sexualizing children. It's got to be the single most radical thing you can do, the single most morally indefensible thing you can do. And
according to Grok, $17 to $19 billion of value erased in days from a single tweet thread. Wow. Target, Anheuser-Busch, Netflix. We, the people, have the power here, not Netflix, not Benjamin Netanyahu, not a couple of puppet masters, not Obama. Obama's scrambled eggs. He's all wrapped up in Netflix. It's got his fingerprints all over what they're doing. It's the Obama doctrine.
I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to play you all the clips. I'm going to show you what they're putting into their programming. That's why this has gone so viral, because Netflix has truly crossed the line. If you believe that this is wrong, you should also cancel your Netflix. Okay, here we go. Here's the mashup of every time Netflix has put transgender, sexualized, radical ideology into their children's programming.
Children's programming, radicalized, sexualized, transgender ideology. Trying to brainwash and confuse your young, impressionable 7-year-old kids.
How about you break out those moves for your two biggest fans?
Break out those moves for your two biggest fans. Oh, that was a boy dressed as a girl dancing for their two gay dads.
When I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
Non-binary?
Oh, jeez, this is the Transformers one. I remember this too.
People who aren't female or male.
Everybody is either female or male. Some people are hermaphroditic. There's a couple of medical conditions. Aside from that, you're a male or a female.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have assumed.
Nightshades pronouns are they, them.
No, if you're a singular person, you cannot be they, them. There's no such thing. We can play characters. I play characters on this show. I do impressions. It doesn't make me more than one person. It's mathematically incorrect.
She just doesn't fit who I am.
My apologies.
Who was it? Hasbro that sold Transformers for this stuff? I wonder how Hasbro feels about this.
Please switch their piece.
I'm trans, Norma.
Please switch their piece. It's one person. Here's this one. I'm trans, Norma.
And everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows. And being here, it's like a whole new place.
This is Cherry Chip reporting from the wedding of the year. Everyone's favorite karate instructor, Sensei Dave, will be marrying mixed martial arts champion Jiu-Jitsu Joe.
He's the undisputed champion of my heart.
Everything okay, Fred?
This is quite the compilation. This is very intentional.
Oh, the last time I saw my grandma, I used a different name and pronouns.
Cancel your Netflix. Why this Netflix cancellation campaign has gone.
Yeah, a lot of people canceled when they did Cuties. More people are canceling now. Binary flicks. Hasbro, now it's Shebro. Ha 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 ha. Nice. I know, I hardly watch it anymore anyway either. I do have it. I have like a secondary account. I have Amazon. Prime is, free delivery is nice, but yeah, all you gotta do is have a company with like, why couldn't X do the same thing? That's kind of what I'm getting at. Elon. Okay, we're discussing the invasion of England here. This is from 2009 compared to 2024. Take a listen. Barbarians never take a city until someone opens the gates for them.
This is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen. I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing. You will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic. The term is already being introduced into the culture as if
yeah, you're phobic instead of being, no, that's a non-compatible ideology and I will not submit to your warlord. That's not something I'm going to do. Oh, you're so phobic. Pinkies up.
as if it was an accusation of race hatred, for example, or bigotry, whereas it's only the objection to the preachings of a very extreme and absolutist religion. Watch out for these symptoms. They are not just symptoms of surrender, very often ecumenically offered to you by men of God in other robes, Christian and Jewish and smarmy ecumenical. These are the ones who will hold open the gates for the barbarians. The barbarians never take a city till someone holds the gates open for them. And it's your own preachers who will do it for you, and your own multicultural authorities who will do it for you. Resist it while you can.
And Keir Starmer on the bottom.
One of the things that is coming up over and over again is Islamophobia. And, well, you can see the stats, you can see the numbers rising, particularly since October the 7th. Although we shouldn't fall into the trap of thinking that before October the 7th, this was all heading in the right direction.
Oh, really? It wasn't heading in the right direction. Okay. Who does this guy work for? Why is he cucking his own people? How did he get in this position to begin with? Do they trust the balloting here? This makes no sense that this guy could lead a nation that doesn't want any of what he's selling.
It's been far too high for far too long. Clearly, we need to just say over and over again, Islamophobia is intolerable.
You want people to come in and change your country forever and to become slaves or get butchered.
It can never, ever be justified, and we have to continue with a zero-tolerance approach.
No criticisms anymore. Can't have an opinion that's not, yes, I guess I better let you take over my country. I don't want to be called a bad name.
And I think there's more we can do in government. There's certainly stuff online which I think needs tackling much more robustly than
yeah, we can't let the people talk.
It is at the moment.
What I'm hoping, Keir, is your experience as a prosecutor means you'll be thinking about the strategies we can use to make sure we take action against those who break the law.
This is...
Yeah, what you saw there was like it was like an NGO conversation of lobbying. Was that the Muslim mayor Sadiq Khan of London? Is that what that was? All right, Toria Brooke has some stories here. Conor McGregor says the White House fight deal is a done deal.
Nice support for the people of Ireland.
Is this a done deal?
Because we need.
Are you definitely
support for the people of Ireland?
Is this a done deal? You're in.
Done
you made
deal,
a deal,
signed, delivered. It ain't a negotiation.
Wow.
It's a done deal, signed, delivered. McGregor will compete in the White House for UFC's 200 for the America's 250th
Did you talk
birthday.
to Dana about it? Dana's got to sign off, I would imagine. No.
Me and Dana are in constant communications. We've done incredible business together. I'm the highest generating fighter of all time in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They've just signed a breathtaking deal with Paramount where we go to cable TV. $7.7 billion that deal was accrued for, and ready to rock, baby. Bring in the big dog, the Mac G. It can.
Conor McGregor. In Florida, Lake County becomes the first local government in the United States to name a road after Charlie Kirk. It's the Charlie Kirk Memorial Highway. There you go. That's the way. And be prepared to constantly fix it up. I wish people would put like protective layers of stuff. So if it gets spray painted, just peel the layer off. I feel like that's $1 million idea that I could sell. Once again, I'm an idea guy. It's the execution part. Well, pardon the pun with Charlie Kirk there about execution. So in case you missed it, Walmart will eliminate synthetic food dyes from its store brands, including Better Goods, Great Value, and Market Side by the year 2027. AF Post reports that Kash Patel has announced that the FBI will no longer partner with the ADL. They actually had words in there that said Christian identity is extremism and hate. And then if you dig deeper, they're like, no, we're not saying Christians are extremist and hateful. No, there's like a tiny little subsect that nobody knows about. They're called Christian identity, and they are hateful. And so they're going to be on our hit list because that's what they do. They put out hit lists, maybe not for execution, but for starving of revenue and making sure that they're censored and this and that. I said, no, you can't do that. No, because if you have Jewish identity or Muslim identity, you're putting a target on the backs of people saying, oh, they're extremist and hateful. You need to take them out. That's the same shit that got Charlie Kirk killed. You got to change your terminology. Nope. Not having it. And then other people are upset that they put Turning Point USA on their glossary of extremism and hate. But Kash Patel says the FBI will no longer partner with ADL. Thank God. After the ADL got tons of backlash for its now shuttered glossary of extremism and hate. That was our main topic 2 days ago. FBI and ADL have had a long-standing partnership focused on combating hate crimes, extremism, and terrorism. No more. Kash Patel says James Comey wrote love letters to the ADL and embedded FBI agents with them. Yep. A group that ran disgraceful operations who were spying on Americans. That era is over. This FBI won't partner with political fronts. And they are. They're political fronts masquerading as watchdogs. And there's a lot of people that say Islam is not a religion so much as it is a political ideology, a political front that masquerades as a religion. We use our religion as the foot in the door to get our way in. Then we pile through with our political ideology.
Just called all the generals together. You seen that?
So the generals came together, and Rogan is like, oh, my gosh, let's talk about that. I don't know who's talking to him in this video.
Yeah, Hegseth did. But supposedly what they're doing is they want to get all the generals together and give them some sort of a moral and ethical mandate.
Yeah.
Like preparedness. This is what we want the military to be.
No more beards and stuff.
No more fucking politics and no more identity politics and bullshit. The most important thing is be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready, have the best, most capable military that's humanly possible given the resources that we have today. This is what our goal is. This is what our job is.
And they needed to call everybody together to do that?
Well, you saw what the fuck was going on over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
You got guys in dresses talking about how it's really important to have inclusiveness. It's the most important thing about the military is inclusivity. Like we had crazy people that were in charge of very important positions, including that guy that was stealing women's clothes.
Yeah.
That guy was in charge of like fucking nuclear waste, and he's running around.
Just called all the generals together. You seen that?
Yeah, Hegseth did. But supposedly Stealing people's underwear.
The panty raid.
With lipstick and a bald head. Not just stealing, but he stole this one lady who was like a famous designer. It was a one-off dress, and then he wore it. That's how he got busted. He wore it to some event, and the lady was like, "Hey, motherfucker, that's mine." Like, someone stole that shit from the airport, and that's how he got busted. Stealing people's underwear.
The panty raid.
So in Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro moved Christmas to be celebrated today? What? Maduro then ordered fireworks to launch from El Helioscoide, the largest torture center in the nation and the detention site for political prisoners. What? That's just super weird.
To the Memphis Police Department, to the
Yep, all that violent bullshit is done. It's over. It's not just a task force. It's an all of government, unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have.
And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the...
Please liberate Memphis. U.S. unemployed now outnumber job openings. Oh, God. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. More unemployed workers than job openings across the United States. That's not good. No, that's not good. No, that's not good at all. Currently, rallies are being held in support of global Sumid flotilla in Berlin, Brussels, Rome, and Istanbul. In Poland, authorities have arrested a Ukrainian diving instructor known as Vladimir Z, who is suspected of being one of the divers who planted explosive devices on the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline in 2022. A married couple who ran a diving school is also involved. German authorities say that the suspect sailed to the Baltic Sea on a yacht called the Andromeda, from which he dove underwater and placed the explosive on the pipeline. Remember, then they blamed it on Russia. Today, the White House fired many members of the National Council on Humanities to place members on the board who align with the POTUS vision. The Israel Navy reportedly stopped a convoy of dozens of humanitarian ships attempting to break the military blockade in the restricted zone off the coast of the
Donc là, vous voyez l'interception. Là, on a notre bateau qui appartient à la petite.
Now you know. Carolyn Levitt says Democrats are shutting down the federal government because President Trump won't force taxpayers to pay for free health care for illegal aliens. Just think about that. Democrat elected representatives are punishing their own constituents to fight for illegals. This is deranged, she says. Let's bounce over here to our X profile. Make sure you're following us on X at American_media_ right there. Been around since April of 2011. That's 14 awesome years. Here's our Patreon page right here. If anybody is interested in signing up to be a Patreon subscriber, that's where you can find us. And we encourage everybody to do such a thing. A little bit goes a long way, I assure you. A little bit of support goes a long way. So Posobic's putting this out here because the NFL
Get what go broke, and that's what they're going to.
Well, this is Tim Pool on Real America's Voice. The NFL put out someone who's going to probably bring a drag show to the Super Bowl halftime show. Anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, anti-America, anti-ICE performer Bad Bunny. And so, all right, well, if you're going to do that, what can we do? Well, how about something instead of nothing?
And that's what they're going to see with Get Woke, Go Broke when people complain about this, and they're not. Well, they're going to try and internationalize or whatever, but they're going to lose American audience.
But this is the one pushback to that is to Jack's point. They've imported the international audience into our domestic audience.
But when you have a popular vote winner in Donald Trump and a demand for immigration,
the response is simple here: bring on Creed. We need Creed. We need Scott Stapp. We need them flying down from the rafters. The greatest halftime show that has ever taken place.
Let me give the audience,
which wasn't even a Super Bowl show, by the way.
Let me give the audience.
That was the peak of America.
Right, hold on,
2004.
Let me give the audience a little context. Jack,
Super Bowl,
in response to this, tweeted out something along the lines, there's only one response. We need Creed. I'm literally, it's because, you know,
by the way,
you weren't
I did not have approval from TPUSA.
No, so this is what's hilarious. I'm getting multiple inquiries from the media right now.
So have I.
Saying, I would like a comment on, is Turning Point planning a competing, are they planning a competing halftime show with Creed? And I was like, well, I wasn't.
But now, maybe it would make sense. Yeah, this is our Truth Social link. Please vote in our poll. Who do you blame for today's government shutdown? If you're on Truth Social, follow the TNAM account, please. Why is Putin trending? Blasted the so-called liberal world order, mocking its leaders as weirdos who sit at the top of the food chain, dictating rules and keeping the benefits for themselves. He said the system was never about fairness, but about powerful nations thinking for everyone else and issuing orders while reaping all the rewards. This is the one where Putin says that the West is run by satanic pedophiles, destroying the institution of family, culture, and historical identity. But we're supposed to believe Jeffrey Epstein ran an international traffic ring with no clients? Okay. Why is Pierre Poilievre trending? Okay, it seems like this is the clip that's getting some attention. What's this about? He recently said that this prime minister was just as irresponsible with money as Trudeau, but now I realize that was unfair to Trudeau. Okay. Just wondering if there were any updates on these. Heritage Foundation, this here shared by Wall Street Apes, exposes Hillary Clinton being directly behind the European Union using Digital Services Act to pressure Elon Musk and America back into censorship. This is the shit we're talking about.
Free speech is in a free fall in Europe. There are two anti-free speech movements that have coalesced. Mm-hmm. One is in Europe, where it has laid waste to free speech. Germany, France, England. Free speech has been eviscerated. And also places like Canada. The U.S. anti-free speech movement began in higher education, then metastasized throughout the government. But this has all reached our shores now. The Berlin World Forum followed the remarks of Vice President Vance on free speech, and the EU was red hot. They gathered in Berlin, and it was the most anti-free speech gathering I've ever been part of. There's only two of us from the free speech community. And they are committed. And, you know, Hillary Clinton was there, and she really fueled the anger. I mean, she, when Twitter was purchased by Elon Musk, she called on the EU to use the infamous Digital Services Act, which is one of the most anti-free speech pieces of legislation in decades. And she called upon the EU to use the DSA to force the censorship of American citizens, force people like Musk to censor. It's an extraordinary act by someone who was once a presidential candidate in the United States. But they are committed to it. And after the World Forum, they further globalized this effort, and they are threatening companies like X with ruinous fines unless they resume censoring American citizens.
That's where we find ourselves. And that's what we're resisting against. So here's Dollar Store Obama. On CNN, Jake Tapper embarrasses him. Check this out.
Donald Trump blessed it as well.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of healthcare subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
It's a lie.
It's a lie, but what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that to message? I understand that
Donald Trump blessed it as well.
It does bring back funding, illegal aliens, and a provision for people seeking asylum and temporary protected status, not non-citizens. Why even include that? Hey, here's an update. You remember this video of this guy working at an event? The 66-year-old stadium worker during an NBA YoungBoy concert charged with felony assault and misdemeanor assault. Thomas Schlang asked the teen to move to the correct seat. The boy was later released into the custody of his parent. Hearings in the case will be closed to the public. Missouri law requires the identities of juveniles in the justice system to remain confidential. I mean, beating on an old man like that? Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Not cool with that. Oh, check this out. This is on CNN. A patriot in Memphis just photobombed CNN with a sign saying Democrats destroyed Memphis as the National Guard begins arriving. Check this out.
FBI, it's been an alphabet soup of law enforcement as we've seen them get ready and go out.
Democrats destroyed Memphis.
And make runs throughout the day. We know more than 50 arrests were made just last night, 20 guns taken off the street in the last 48 hours. You see people like this who behind me with this sign. He has it on both sides. If you can flip it around and show what he's saying, he's hoping that this action by Trump will help make the city safer.
Good. At least, all right. Good job. I like this guy. Good.
Take a listen to a man that we talked to in a neighborhood.
Democrats destroyed Memphis.
That basically says he welcomes the idea of this federal action. FBI, it's been an alphabet soup of law enforcement.
Good job. They let it happen. I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Oh, by the what did I search for on Grok? Yeah, the Netflix boycott. I told you, what was the number? 100 to 500 million in annual revenue of sustained. 17 to 19 billion dollars erased in days from a single. It's not about Elon's tweet. It's about the fact that we're sick of the shit. Yeah, Danette, what if everyone just turned off the shitty halftime show? I know. Well, that's why they do counter programming. They'll do the Puppy Bowl, MTV. Like a lot of people do counter programming. So, yeah. New York Post reports that Harvard has hired a drag queen named Lahore Vagistan as a visiting professor. Harvard. Damn those dirty Dems. Unholy hoax. Always. So this is the guy, allegedly. Once it's confirmed he's a Muslim, I wonder what your next excuse for your cult might be. It's the immigrants you're siding with again. They imported Islamists who hate Jews and Christians and Western values. Pro-Palestinians took over the streets of central London again last night, set off fireworks in the busiest part, chanted for Israel's destruction, not a single police officer. So do racist thugs run our capital now? It's like a nightmare dystopia. This is the guy that attacked a synagogue in Crumpsall. I love these the names of these British places. They all seem fake. Crumpsall. By the way, like I said yesterday, 528 reported attacks on Catholic churches in the past 5 years, mind you. Keir Starmer says the fact that it's taken place on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, makes it horrific. My thoughts are with the loved ones, blah, blah, blah. We said, oh, really, Keir Starmer? Then why have you allowed your country to be invaded by people who support this? Answer for yourself. Grow a spine. Defend your nation from invasion. History will remember your next batch of decisions. Either attack England residents or attack invaders. Nigel Farage, horrified by the attack at a synagogue in Manchester on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. Glenn Greenwald reminds us, the Defamation League has bullied and coerced huge numbers of institutions to take orders from it about whose views shouldn't be deemed, The Defamation League bullied and coerced huge numbers of institutions to take orders from it about whose views should be deemed extremist and thus prohibited, and who shouldn't. As but one example, PayPal uses the ADL to decide who should be expelled from using its services. PayPal partners with the Defamation League to fight extremism and protect marginalized communities. Well, there you have it. The Democrats are crying about a Hatch Act violation. The hypocrisy is absolutely rich. Meanwhile, we're called Nazis, fascists, and more. Go F yourselves. Because of some of the posts that are being made on the government websites about how the Democrats have shut down the country. They did. Speaker Johnson talking about how Chuck Schumer's driving his party off a cliff because he's terrified of AOC and the far left domestic terrorists. That's not leadership.
Everybody wants to know, why would he do that? Because, gosh, Chuck Schumer's the leader of the Democrats. He's been in Washington for decades, and he's always gone out and given these long speeches about how government shutdowns are dangerous and selfish and destructive. Well, they still are, but he's changed his tune. Why? And here's the simple fact. Vice President J.D. Vance said it very clearly today. I've been saying it on interviews. Chuck Schumer is scared of his own shadow. He's afraid that AOC and the far left, base of his party is going to challenge him in his next Senate race. And so he has to do this for selfish reasons to show that he's fighting so he doesn't get challenged from his far left.
And that's the claim that's being made. The Schumer shutdown. Speaker Johnson says there is one simple reason Schumer is willing to shut down the government for the first time in his career. The cover illustration from 6 months ago says it all. The last time he did the responsible thing and voted for a continuing resolution, the far left came after him. Now, instead of facing that criticism again, he's willing to inflict real pain on the American people. It's shameless. Here's CNN being shameful, says Speaker Johnson. They cut off the Republican press conference to censor the truth from the American people, to lie about indisputable facts. On page 57 of the Democrats' own bill, they insist that they restore, that the Republicans restore $200 billion of stolen money health care for illegal alien invaders.
The Working Families Tax Cut included a huge provision. A big chunk of that bill was the health provisions. Now, why are we saying that they want to restore taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens? Because that's exactly what they did. When they rejected the clean CR that we sent over, the Senate Democrats.
All right, we're listening here to Speaker Johnson. He's trying to frame the shutdown as a Democratic shutdown. He also falsely claimed that Democrats want to give extend health care.
She's saying they falsely claimed. God, does CNN lie? I'd really dislike them.
To illegal immigrants. That is not true.
That is true.
Illegal immigrants are not eligible for federal health care programs.
You're thinly, narrowly trying to answer something, whereas the greater picture shows that that's a theft of resources from the American citizens going to illegal alien invaders. And it's such bullshit how they do that. They'll say that they're falsely saying this. You don't know what's going on. Stop it. Stop it, CNN. Flippin' Stop it. George Stephanopoulos lecturing Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson. But then Speaker Johnson wins the day.
Here are facts. Here are the facts. The proposal does not provide health care for illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants cannot buy health care under the Affordable Care Act. They cannot.
This is such a disingenuous garbage argument from the left. They're narrowly trying to redefine what's being said. And you go, I don't care about what you just said. There's a carve out for illegal aliens stealing our resources, and you know it.
Not receive health care subsidies. No. Illegal immigrants are ineligible for Medicare, Medicaid, and the Children's Health Program. The Democratic bill does not make them eligible.
It does, actually, because what it does is it unwinds the changes that Republicans put into the big, beautiful bill, the big signature legislation that we passed and signed into law on July 4th. That has been very successful in shoring up Medicaid for the people who are actually eligible to receive it. What we did in the bill, and the CBO just verified this 3 weeks ago, the Congressional Budget Office, the nonpartisan arbiters of everything up here, they said that those provisions have helped to reduce premiums. Why? Because we got ineligible recipients off of Medicaid, illegal aliens, and able-bodied young men who are riding the wagon who are not eligible to be there. Medicaid is intended for specific populations of U.S. citizens. That is young, pregnant women who are down on their luck, the disabled and the elderly. Those resources are being drained from those folks, and so we fixed that. We reduced fraud, waste, and abuse in the program. Chuck Schumer's counterproposal on the CR would reverse that. That is a simple fact.
The CBO did not say that about illegal immigrants. You've made your point right there.
Okay.
This counter proposal that he filed, everybody can Google it, go pull it up. It's on the Senate's website and in the legislative text. Go to page 57 of Chuck Schumer's bill and look at section 2141. It says right there in plain language they want to repeal the health provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill. This counter proposal.
Repeal the health subtitle changes. So that's not going to happen. X-Free says it's going way beyond canceling Netflix. It's you fighting back, taking a stand. It's you saying this is what happens when you come after my kids. This is what you get when you force this insanity on us. This is us declaring we're done with this crap. Enough is enough. Go woke, go broke. Have fun with that. Dan Scavino, he's a big... Where's music? He's proposed, and she said yes. So, congratulations, Dan Scavino. WikiLeaks is exposing a secret Israel influence campaign in the U.S. Leaked FARA filings show that Bridges Partners, LLC, acting for Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has been distributing $900,000 to recruit, train, and pay U.S. influencers to flood American social media with pro-Israel content. About $7,000 a post under campaigns called the Esther Project. Payments itemized for concept development and content creation with 25 to 30 U.S. influencers onboarded this summer alone. That seems like a lot, doesn't it? Yeah. Funding comes directly from Israel's $150 million foreign influence budget, approved last year to counter their collapsing U.S. public support. Hey, here's a reminder when the Democrats are lying to you that they're not trying to steal your money and give it to illegal alien invaders. Remember what they did in their primary.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Wait for it. Was that all their hands up? Every hand up. They want to steal your money and give it to illegal alien invaders. And then they want to lie about it. You can literally watch the liberal left malfunction in real time as they realize they've lost control of the narrative. Check this one out.
How is it?
Are you happy with Elon Musk? Are you an Elon Musk fan?
You know
like
why?
him?
You know why Elon Musk terrifies you, and you call it disinformation? Because it's speech you cannot control. That's it. You can't control. Although you're trying. Listen, with the online safety.
You think he's a Democrat?
You are trying.
You think he believes in democracy?
Do you believe in democracy?
Well, obviously I do. But
how do you believe? Did people vote for the digital ID? Did people vote for the online safety bill? No, you don't believe in democracy. You don't believe in Brexit.
Elon Musk.
You want it over.
You think Elon Musk
is not an elected official. I want the leader of this country to believe in democracy.
Are you a fan of him?
I'm a fan for anyone that protects free speech. Yes, I am a fan of him. He is a genius. Have you thought what he's brought to...
I think he's an idiot. I think he doesn't understand...
He's an idiot.
I don't think he understands our political
Someone who's
system
created
at all.
SpaceX and Tesla is an idiot. Is an idiot.
They keep blowing up.
What an asshole.
He's wiped millions off the share price of his own company.
Labour cabinet member who's achieved...
I think he's an absolute danger to himself and others.
In what sense? I'll tell you what's a danger. Is a corrupt Labour Party. Is a corrupt Labour Party that's... Yes, because you're running a country. I'll tell you what's a danger. Is you trying to chip away our freedoms bit by bit with the online safety bill, the digital ID, under the guise of safety.
I don't believe he actually thinks in democracy.
You know, the problem is that the establishment used to control what we see and hear.
Yep, the establishment used to control what we see and hear. Now we hate them and we see them and we're getting rid of them. Fucking finally.
I believe he actually thinks in democracy.
You know, the problem is that the establishment used to control what we see and hear. Now we have X, and that terrifies people like you. It terrifies. No, he's not. You are the establishment. Your party is the establishment. And actually, people are waking up to they've been lied to the whole time, and that terrifies your.
It should terrify you. Hold on, what did Ted Cruz just say? Let's listen to this one.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? I want you to look at what happened when the National Guard went to D.C.
I'm sorry, what?
How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? I want you to look at what happened when the National Guard went to D.C. How about we...
Steven Crowder back.
Everyone told me that this, in today's climate, could not be done unless I took unbelievable precautions, unless it was absolutely kept a secret until mere hours before the event as a pop-up, unless I literally brought an army with me and bulletproofed the entire radius, which is exactly what we did.
So strong. I don't know, they got music.
In many years, Change My Mind returns, and back to one of the places where it all began, Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas.
There you go. Good. Oh, check this guy out. Bill Malugin reporting an Antifa militant who dumped red paint on the ICE facility here in Portland last night was just arrested after he returned. And then check out this little punk. He's so tough with paint and middle fingers. Let's watch him. Bill Malugin.
I fucking told you, bro.
Hey, slob.
I fucking told you. Hell yeah, bro. Fuck yeah.
Little fella. Hey, big fella, are you terrified that you might have to face some consequences for your fucked up behavior? I'm pressed, that's all I am. Visibly shaking, you little punk. Make Antifa terrified again. John Rich is saying that this is a Republican making a fiery speech on the House floor in Tennessee, advocating to legalize male first cousins marrying each other. I thought this was a joke too. I wish it was. Gino Bolso. What? Dana Lash walked out of a future freshman tour 15 minutes in because the presenter started in on DEI. We then excluded Texas Christian University from future consideration in our family. The C is purely performative because they make idols of race and sex. Shame on TCU for their bigotry against actual Christians. TCU holds pride events but will not allow Christian baptisms and events. They denied our 10-7 event despite many rooms being available. So there you go. The oldest of Christian heresies is that God somehow prefers the chosen people. No, the only chosen people are those who choose Jesus, period. Glenn Greenwald said there were two venues in the U.S. where Israel criticism thrived: U.S. campus and TikTok. The campus problem was solved by the Trump's new hate speech code and firing professors in DEI for Jewish students. The TikTok problem solved by giving it to IDF financier Larry Ellison. RIP TikTok, Israel assassinated it. Well, I don't know it because I never used it. Minnesota taken over by Muslims. Nearly half of all immigrants, according to Wall Street Apes, half of all immigrants in the Minneapolis-St. Paul Twin Cities are committing some form of immigration fraud. It's an illegal invasion. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, noncompliance, public safety, national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed. Focusing on a list of over 1,000 target cases involving more than 900 individuals, our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, if Ilhan Omar, please, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of H-1B visa system, abuse of F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Candace Owens talking about the coroner was brand spanking new. So was the surgeon. Candace reveals everyone connected to Charlie Kirk's case was new. New FBI director, new FBI members in Utah after cleaning house, new CEO and lead surgeon at the hospital, ranked extremely low in treating traumatic neck wounds, not even the closest hospital to UVU. That's weird. New judge appointed May 25 by Governor Cox. The coroner, brand spanking new. 9/10 was everybody's first day on the job. Brand new surgeon on the front end, brand new coroner on the back end, all new faces, all key positions. When every key player is brand new, is that really a coincidence or a setup for assassination, she asks. President Trump talking to Hakeem Jeffries, pointing at him, smiling. He's got the Trump 2028 hat on the table. FARA registration shows Israel paying $900K for U.S. influencers, and here they are. Some of them are Xavier de Ruzarius. It's that black dude with the white hair. Emily Austin. Cam Higbee, we've been seeing him a lot. Emily Saves America, she's getting paid. Claims she's going to Israel on her own dime, but she made it $1.2 million. That sounds completely disingenuous. CJ Pearson getting paid $1.1 million. Savannah Craven, the girl that got punched, $642,000. That's a ton of money. I don't know who the rest of these people are, but you should know. We said it's super important. It's crucial, actually. Just who is being sponsored to sell us advertisements via content. It's okay to root for whatever team you want, but be transparent about who's sending the checks. Another George Zinn connection. He's a supporter of Utah State Representative Phil Lyman. And they're also saying he was at the Kobe Bryant trial. This guy's everywhere. Rest in peace to Jane Goodall. Her work with the apes, with the monkeys, with the animals. Performative Male says, RIP, in one of her books we read for school, she talked about keeping her baby in a cage during field research so the chimps wouldn't eat it, and I still laugh about that. She was 91 years old. Here she is hugging a cat, a woman of my heart. This is maybe my favorite video of Jane Goodall. You remember this one? Gets this monkey out of captivity. Mikey comes over. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Thanks. But she's like, hold on. Monkey's like, hold on a second. Let me climb up to where you're at, Jane Goodall. Look at that embrace. And look at these tough military guys trying not to be emotional about this. There's nothing like an embrace. That's a universal sign. I mean, how do you not get teary-eyed at that? That's just sweet. Rest in peace, Jane Goodall. The last thing I'll show you, end on a piece of levity. The 44 Senate Democrats who voted for Schumer's shutdown should know that the sombrero posting will continue until they reopen our government. Can't play the music, but it's all the Democrats are being given sombreros. It's the new thing. And every good American wants me. And it's a parody post. I'd play it, but music. Roof people pulled up. Awesome. Good luck. Pinkies up to the roof gods who allow that to happen. Get through it, Deb. Give us an update tomorrow. I'm gonna end this broadcast and I'm gonna relaunch immediately. We're just gonna be watching the Indians game, hanging out. If you want to hang out, we'll still be here talking. I'm gonna pull up the game and we're gonna do it. So, thank you all for being here on TNAM's Daily Show. Appreciate each and every one of you. Tip jar is out. Venmo and Cash App. That's my name, Brian Engelman, Engelman. Let me stop sharing that post. And for those of you guessing on the jersey number, how do I do that? There we go. There's the jersey. Whoop, wrong direction. That was my football number. So when I said I'm going to put my name on the back because I won't trade me and I'm not going to stop rooting for my teams, it's my own name. That's the number I had in high school. There we go. I was number 47, but then I needed a lineman jersey number my senior year and I switched. Yeah. So good luck with the roofing people. And hopefully you might be able to get some insurance on that. And I know, yeah, we've had hailstorms and stuff and it causes a lot of damage around here. So, okay. Like I said, Venmo Cash App is my name, Brian Engelman. That's why I was doing that. Engelman for those of you in Rio Linda, California. Like I said, Patreon and whatnot. If anyone wants to get a mug, $40 includes shipping. Red on the inside, white up here, and then blue right there. Thanks to John for making these. I got 18 of. Do I have 18 or 17 now? 16. I think I got 18. I'm keeping one so I can keep advertising it. Who got one? Kenneth got one. Mailed him out a couple days ago. He got it over the weekend. He said, "What a great surprise." You too can have a great surprise if you want some. Okay. Go Tribe. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace. Is this Marion's favorite part where the music plays? It's my favorite part too.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.